nanalo this weekend.
Oo nga eh. Solid, man.
Lahat kami, lahat.
Kawawa naman Arsenal. Draw lang naman kami, bro. Hindi naman kami
pasalamat ka, Ron. Si KDB, Liverpool fan niya nung bata kaya hindi siya nut yung penalty.
Oo nga, no?
Hindi naman dapat sobra namang harsh yung call na yun.
Kaya nga, hindi niya sinut. Naawa siya sa inyo. Hindi naman nakakamintis ng penalty yun.
Pero handball ba yun? Grabe naman sobrang...
Bro, yung Real Madrid ko 3 penalty binigay sa kanilang kalaban. Grabe.
Ha?
They conceded sila sa
Valencia. They conceded 3 penalties.
Ano sila 4-1?
Grabe, weird yung mga rules ngayon sa football.
Tapos yung VAR na yan.
Kung hindi lang nananalo ang Liverpool, weird ka agad, no?
Oo, di ba? Pero pag sa kanila, gusto yung VAR, di ba?
Mas weird ang Tottenham, top of the league.
Hindi, only for a couple of hours. Leicester na ngayon. By 1 point.
Ano naman yung Tottenham, magalingin mauna, tapos mamaya,
yun nga yun.
Well,
nose nerve yan.
Pero grabe, galing ni Harry Kane.
No one wins.
Magklase, no? Yung Son and Kane show, grabe.
Galing talaga ni Kane yun. Passing niya, grabe.
Ay, nako. Alright. Okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Hi guys, welcome to Istoryang Futbolero. My name's Ron Poblete. I'm with Mikel Paris and Mr. Eric Madraso. Eric si Mikel, bagong shave. Yo.
Bumata eh.
Tinatanong pa naman ni Sab kanina, ginawa mo yun para mapansin dyan sa vlog mo. Sabi ko, hindi naman nila mapapansin yun. Napansin ko.
wala ka talaga lusot sa asawa mo, bro. That's
okay lang yan. Basta tinuruan ko yung anak ko mag-ahit nung weekend kasi grabe, anak ko 13 years old. may balbas na. Sabi ko,
talaga?
He came to me, said, Dad, I want to shave it all. Sabi ko, sige, turuan ko na.
Man, father and child moments na you can never miss. Kasi Mikel, you have all these memories with you. Nakikita ko ngayon mga video mo, Mikel, with your son. Talagang parang it would seem, well, I'm sure you just do it. You don't do it intentionally, but you are creating memories with your son, which is something that people should do given the technology that's available.
Yeah, at saka sulitin nyo na rin yung lockdown. These are opportunities you get with your kids that you wouldn't normally get. So, make the most of it na lang.
Tsaka kung isipin mo yung panahon natin, kung meron sana mga actually napag-usapan namin yan before. I can't imagine growing up with the technology that we have right now. Kasi maraming mga kalokohan tayo nung...
Yun na nga, kasi kung may camera nung time natin, Rod, baka nakulong na rin ako. Kaya mabuti nang walang camera.
Mabuti na walang camera. Walang incriminating evidence. Sa mga kasi mahal ng film noon di ba? Mahal na...
So, tapos, bawal magkamali, di ba? When you...
bawal magkamali.
Kung nagkamali, ay, nako.
At saka hindi mo alam kung maganda yung kuha mo until you go to the developer.
Parang minsan magkamali ka, patay. 24 shots lang to. Nagtitipid ka, hindi mo kaya bumili ng 36, di ba?
Tapos magagay ka sa kaibigan, huy, gago ka, wag mong gamitin yan sa kung ano lang kinukuha ang picture. Magsa-selfie. Dati, by the way, matagal na po uso yung selfie. Meron po nagsa-selfie. Gamit yung mga Instamatic or yung mga cameras with film. Anyway, welcome to the program. Gusto lang natin i-welcome mga ating mga early birds. Sila Brenda Marces, watching all the way from Singapore. Si Miriam Miguel. Hello mga bolero. And Tessie Usman Lilangan. Thank you so much for watching. And we have a few viewers as well na nakikinig gamit ang kanilang ang other group natin na we are connected to. Gusto ko lang sila i-acknowledge. Sorry. Medyo narinig ko yung boses natin. Si Darlene Rabong and Tixia Catalina, watching from Rizal. All right.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Evening.
Tsaka si Edwin Lucas. All right. So, tapos ng eleksyon sa Amerika. At ngayon so okay naman. I mean, for the one half of the American people, ang word for it is big relief. Dahil for them, the last 4 years of Donald Trump was a nightmare.
Not very ideal, yeah.
Yun yung best way to describe it for those people who were not fans of Donald Trump, and I've seen comedians and even mga actors, no? Nang nanalo si Donald Trump noong 2016, lumabas sila sa TV at dami nilang mga sinabi talaga, para silang nalugi, parang natalo sa casino. Yung itsura ng mga celebrities na to, itong mga, at tsaka yung mga tao na gusto sana manalo si Hillary. At ang bilis ng panahon. 4 years na nakalipas, tatapos na rin yung election sa Amerika. At yun, natalo si Donald Trump. Maraming mga Pilipino who were supporting him in the United States. Si Mikel mentioned, you have relatives in the States who were hoping that Donald Trump will get a second term.
Well, very, very few. But most of them, kasi most of my family nasa West Coast naman sila. So sila lahat mostly, Biden. No? But yun nga, a lot of them were Biden, not because they liked Biden. It's just that they really didn't like Trump and what was happening in their part of the world. So syempre, they voted otherwise.
Sana lang, we're hoping na hindi to, kasi alam mo, hindi ko alam if we should learn from the Americans or the Americans should learn from us. Because any historical event that happened in our country, one is the 1986 revolution. Nung natapos yung 1986 revolution, people had high hopes for the Cory administration, di ba? At akala natin, well, we were very young then, but the impression that I got at a very young age is that, we're entering a new phase in Philippine history. Coming from martial law, pakiramdam natin, wow, very promising. Mukhang gaganda na ang buhay ng Pilipino. Pero 30 years later, 35 years later, wala. Olats pa rin, di ba? At yun ang naging reason kaya nanalo si President Duterte noong 2016 because all these people who promised so much back then never fulfilled that promise for 30 years or so. And maraming mga disenfranchised, maraming mga taong napagod na sa politika na we had to go through people like ERAP, to a certain extent, GMA, and then you have Pinoy na talagang walang ka-emosyon, walang empathy. Remember him even defining what empathy is?
Yeah, he didn't define it very well.
That's kind of crazy, no? He was so defensive, he had to define it and look for a dictionary to define the word empathy kasi he was being criticized for not having one. So, and now we are faced, I think it's a very critical juncture in our history right now because we have a year and a half before this administration ends, and I don't know if it's going to usher to kumbaga new generation of politicians, or are we going back to the same old rotten system where we elect another person who's just popular and we were happy that we elected him because he entertains us, he enjoys seeing his face on TV, magaling magsalita, magaling magpa-photo ops. So ang tanong dyan is, ganun ba uli ang mangyayari sa 2022 pag natapos na yung ni Presidente? Natapos na yung kanyang tenure. So there are so many things that we are worried about, and that happens to be one of the talking points of the opposition now, because si Trump, being he is the symbol of everything that is wrong about America today, ay natalo at biglang si Biden na ang pumalit, which is giving them hope. So itong ating mga kapatid sa opposition, feeling nila, uy, meron na kaming bagong narrative ngayon. Ang mga diktador natanggal, yung mga kagaya ni Trump, mga authoritarian na mga tao na walang kwenta. Ngayon, maganda ka digong, matatapos rin ang iyong termino sa 2022 at may pagkakataon ang Pilipinas na baguhin at matapos na itong, for them at least, nightmare of PRRD being our president for the last 4 years and a half. So ang question ngayon for our topic, Michael, Eric, ano ang matututunan natin sa sitwasyon ng Amerika para sa ating bansa? Bakit ba tingin ng mga oposisyon sila ang authority on moral and social justice? Because that's not unique to the Philippines. Actually, in the States, yung mga Democrats, sila rin, medyo connected yung mga liberal dito tsaka yung mga Democrats sa Amerika. Kung medyo extreme ang mga Republicans, ang mga Democrats din feeling nagmamarunong at sila yung they can never do wrong. Kumbaga sila yung, they feel that they have the moral ascendancy to say things. And the funny thing is, contradictory to what they think, even Barack Obama once said that you cannot be an activist just by pushing your keyboards at home, complaining about stuff, finding faults at everything, because that's not what activism is. Activism is actually being more proactive and doing what you can to help others and your country. So that's where we start our conversation. And let's start with Mikel.
Thank you. Good evening. Gusto ko lang pansin yung comment ni Mike Apolonio dito. Sabi, nakakapanibago daw yung looks ko. I promise, ito pa rin ako. Nakahanap lang kami ng mga pang-ahit dito sa bahay. Baka sabihin ng tao, baka nakidnap na. Nasaan na yung mukhang terorista dati?
Bro.
But anyway, a few things lang to discuss. It's actually a very nice topic, no? Kasi all of this week since nanalo na si Biden, yung timeline ko was on my social media pages were like, oh, I can't wait for this to happen to the Philippines, and sana more people will vote, encouraging more people to vote. And again, that's good. Like first sa US, let's focus. Personally, I'm happy that wala na si Trump because he was just such a source of divisiveness, and he didn't bring racism to America. He just made it more acceptable to be back out in the open na sabihin nila yung mga ganyan. And I'm sure Trump did a lot of good things also. You cannot just throw everything out, no? But at the end of the day, the Americans chose to be here. But it was a super, super, super close race. As in, talang kita mo, hating-hati yung America, no? That's why there was a comedian, I mentioned it before, na baka si America kailangan niya muna mag-divorce from itself, no? The Reds go one side, the Blues go one side. Because they'll never see eye to eye, diba? Never. The conservatives will always be that way, the liberals will always be that way. But ang advice ko lang sa mga Filipinos here who are comparing it to there, it's nice to compare and want something better. But let's not forget also that Biden was not their favored candidate. Kumbaga, it was just anybody but Trump ang nangyari dyan.
Yes.
The Democrats, in as much as they're a better outfit than the Republicans, they also still have a lot of baho. They're not the best. They're also involved in wars. They also have a lot of scandals. Bill Clinton, who's one of the most popular presidents, was involved in so many scandals before. And even until now, yung kay Epstein, di ba, dawit pa rin siya dyan. Nakailang sakay siya sa aeroplano ni Epstein.
Yeah.
So he's not necessarily, the other side, although it's a better alternative, is not the Tapos may pinost din si Mark Lopez na, syempre si Mark medyo bad trip, no? Kasi feeling niya na, hindi naman siya galit, it's just that feeling niya with the new admin sa US, baka they'll interfere here or whatnot. But to the people who are saying, sana mangyari sa Pilipinas to that will copy America, in many ways, it actually probably already did happen. The last election could have been viewed, I'm not saying it's right, but it could have been also viewed as an awakening because they voted for somebody completely different from the norm. And the poor people, they voted, and this is what they got, no? So it's a bit unfair to say that the next election will be the awakening. The other thing is, yung mga friends natin na encouraging people to vote, that's good. You know, the more people that will vote, the better. But just because you're encouraging people to vote, wag tayong maging a bit sheltered kasi yung tinututukan nila na market is feeling nila yung pag bumoto yung mga mas mayayaman, mas matitilino, they won't vote for the like of Duterte again. But this is where you will realize that there are more poor people in the Philippines than rich. Because kahit anong gawin mo, even if all of us, all of our friends in our social circle decided to vote, we are still completely outnumbered, sadly, by the people who are less fortunate, who will still vote for whoever they think will take them out of poverty. Diba? So parang feeling nila, oh no, if I get, of course, the village namin, if we all vote, I'm sure none of us will vote for Sara Duterte or whoever, will vote for the decent person. This is where a bit sheltered yung mga tao, di nila realize, bakit kaya nila binoto tong isa? Kahit na hindi mo gusto to si Duterte, a lot of people voted for him. You have to ask yourself, why? We've discussed this on the show 1,000 times, diba? Why did they vote for this guy who's foul-mouthed, who is whatever? They voted for this guy for a reason, okay? And don't say it's because they're stupid, they're not educated or whatever. And if you are saying they're stupid and not educated or whatever, you have to ask yourself, bakit sila uneducated? Bakit sila ganyan? Why are they been in that situation? Sanay na tayo na every election, vote for me because I'm gonna make you rich or hindi na ahon kita sa kahirapan. Ilang dekada na tayong pinangakuan ay ahon sa kahirapan, di ba? Never naman nangyari.
Miguel, yung mga taong nababanggit mo, yung ganyan ang reaction at ganyan ang ipinipilit na ideology, sila yung far removed from reality rin eh. Yung kagaya ng sabi ko sa iyo, merong class divide sa Pilipinas eh. It's not, kaya nga ang ating mga parties dito, ating mga political parties, are not separated by their principles or their political point of view. It's more about who's the haves and the have-nots. Yung point of view ng itong mga parating kinukumpare ang Pilipinas sa Amerika, lalong-lalong na yung mga gusto nila na ay sana yung mga ginagawa sa Amerika ginagawa din sa Pilipinas. Hindi nila kumbaga, they're not immersed enough to that situation outside of the comforts of their homes, their air-conditioned rooms, and they're not kulang sila sa immersion sa mga nangyayari diyan sa mga outskirts, sa laylayan na tinatawag ng ating social structure, yung mga taong nasa informal settlements, yung kumbaga yung mga posh villages. Maglakad ka lang ng konti, sa tabi niyan maraming mga squatter areas. At hindi nila malagay yung sarili nila sa posisyon o sitwasyon ng mga taong nakatira sa mga lugar.
Feeling kasi nila, Ron, minsan mag-charity lang sila, okay na. Alam mo yun, it's feeling nila that's how it is, and they don't necessarily see the day-to-day struggles of the average Filipino person who has been promised for decades and decades and decades. They ahon sila sa kahirapan given better opportunities, and it never happens. Kahit anong sabihin ng tao sa akin, sa sobrang dami ng mahirap dito sa Pilipinas, that's all evidence you need that the system has failed them time and time again. Tas, to your point about yung political parties and whatnot, is they don't have basic ideologies. It's sino ba yung pinaka-popular na pwede nilang kunin para manalo, di ba? It's not like they choose somebody who's aligned with their principles. So, kuwari, ngayon, feeling nila si Isko Moreno yung popular. They'll get Isko, even if Isko has completely different views to them, no? Right. It's just that he's the guy who will win. I'm not saying this Isko lang is an example here, di ba? It's just paikot-ikot lang. It's always the same people over and over. And we sadly are, a lot of us are sheltered. If you don't really go outside, talk to the people, di mo malalaman na talagang grabe, ang hirap pala ng sitwasyon nila. And then, I know I have a lot of friends who super hate Duterte because they think of the extrajudicial killings, and talagang feeling nila kasi di nila ma-present sa world si Duterte kasi nga foul mouth, ganyan, parang nahihiya sila, parang sa kanila dapat the Philippines is portrayed as this prim, proper, rich society na we're all educated here. We shouldn't speak like that in public, and we shouldn't, but it's really, again, it's a failure to see what's out there, what people really need, what people want. And
it's funny, Miguel, kasi yung operative word na ginagamit ngayon ng mga Democrats, and even the pundits who are on TV in the States, ang nababanggit is this decency is back. Kumbaga dito sa Pilipinas pa, yung mga
Democrats
disente.
also use that?
Ha? Common
Talaga?
decency daw
Well,
is
the
back
thing,
kasi wala
with
na
the
si Trump.
Democrats kasi they're viewed as more decent than the other. Again, it's not because they are super decent. It's the same here. It's a bit also insulting to say that if, let's say, I didn't vote no for the time, but if let's say, it's insulting to say because Ron is a supporter of President Duterte and the reforms that are benefiting the poorer people, that makes him indecent. That's not right. I mean, there are things that the president says that are, wrong, like why jokes niya about rape and all that. Those are the things that people latch onto, yung mga sound bites na ganyan. Not the good stuff, not the things that are benefiting majority of the poorer Filipinos or even Filipinos as a whole, di ba?
Putting gasoline in your mask.
Di ba? Yung mga ganyan, that's what they
Wash your
oh my
mask with
God.
gasoline ba? Ano ba sabi?
It's the same as, di ba? Kasi they compare si Trump, sabi niya, minom ka ng bleach or Lysol, tapos lagyan mo ng UV light yung kaluluwa mo, baka mawala yung COVID. But it's a bit insulting to say that Ron or Eric is less decent than any of our other friends who vote for the other side. And again, it shouldn't be that way. That's how the parties want you to think, no? It's either dito ka sa decent or sa not decent. Which shouldn't be. That's not really why you should vote for one. It's not because of decency. It's you vote for this is the person who will make a difference. I am aligned with what this person wants to do. Ayun na rin dapat. Hindi naman yung decent, tas yung kabila, porn star. Di ba? Parang ganun yung pinapa-compare sa'yo. I'll vote for porn star, by the way.
Dito lumalabas, kaya nga, dun sa ating caption for our topic today, nilagay ko talaga yung word na hypocrite or hipokrito. Kasi itong adjective na to, itong description of personality na hipokrito ay applicable sa iba nating mga kababayan. Hindi natin maiiwasan talaga, karamihan sa atin from our point of view, if we think we're right and we're very opinionated, no opinion from another person will be right to you because you believe that you maraming yung word na ginagamit is self-righteous. Marami sa mga Pilipino na self-righteous. First of all, gagamitin ang relihiyon. Sasabihin nila katoliko sila. Naniniwala sila sa Diyos. So pag merong sinabi ang presidente na medyo, oy, teka muna. Narinig mo ba yung sinabi ni presidente? Ano sabi niya? Ano yun yung mga about against the Catholic Church, and then they will go on and criticize the president for not for being sacrilege or yung mga sacrilege yung kanyang mga sinasabi. But in truth, most of these people who complain about the president and his indecency and would appear insensitivity towards people who are spiritual or religious is itong mga tao na to nagrereklamo about the president. Sila rin naman yung mga tinatarget ni presidente na sinasabi nating mga fake at mga hipokrito kasi sila rin yung mga pumupunta nagsisimba ng Sunday, nagdadasal, parang hindi makabasag ng pinggan yung personality at akala mo sobrang bait, pero during the entire week kung ano mga kagaguhan ginagawa, sila yung very rude, or sila yung
salbahe sa katulong,
naninigaw ng mga kapwang motorista, pag sila yung mahilig sumingit, sila rin yung mandudugas. Pero pag Sunday, pray, God bless, ganun yung mga banat sa social media, God bless. Tapos
nagpo-post ng mga quotes sa social media palagi ng mga
kaya think about it. If you're a rational person and you take away your proclivities or your biases towards what a decent person should look like, look at yourself in the mirror and you'll see that you are no different from what your perception of the president is. Because what he does is mirror your inconsistencies and you're being a hypocrite. Rick, ano masasabi mo?
That's the thing kasi, even if, we're talking about these so-called decent people, right? Even if they look at themselves in the mirror, Ron, Wala rin mangyayari kasi bilib sila sa sarili nila na sila yung tama.
That's
Diba?
true. I mean,
So, and I really think that yung nangyari sa Amerika ngayon at yung nangyari sa kung anong gusto nila mangyari dito sa Pilipinas, kung anong gusto nila I don't think it's really comparable because again, hindi nga popular president si Trump. Si
Well,
Duterte is
he was popular just within his own support, like sa Republican side lang
oh,
talaga.
solid siya sa Republican
I mean,
side.
like, they're crazy popular. They're just whatever sabihin niya, game sila, diba? But again, it's
yeah,
not across all of America, diba?
agree. And dito naman kasi sa Philippines, ang consistent mataas popular rating niya, approval rating ni Duterte. So I don't think that's gonna happen eh. I mean, if ever pwede mag-re-elect ng president dito sa Pilipinas, I'm pretty sure Duterte is gonna get re-elected if he runs, di ba? Kasi alam naman natin ayaw na niya, gusto niya mag-retire.
I
Pero
think
yun lang yung,
out of desperation din tong kabila itong opposition, anything that they think that can be a positive to their cause, anything that they feel that can add to their narrative of us being the party of decency, a party of the authority, kumbaga the authority on morality. This will help us by saying Biden, Trump, comparing him to President Duterte as the same person. Ngayon na natalo siya, may pag-asa na tayo. By 2022, kung sino man yung magiging alliance presidente ay matatalo.
Alam naman natin that, yun nga, di ba yung quote ko na if America sneezes, everyone else catches a cold, di ba? Kasi damay-damay talaga yan. And, yun lang kasi, ang alam ko kasi, sorry, may naalala ako biglang meme. Sorry. Kasi nung nanalo daw si Biden, si Trump tsaka si Obama daw yung naggulat sabay. Parang, nanalo si Biden. Parang gano'n. Kasi parang yun nga wala rin parang, di ba, nung president si Obama, si Biden parang wala lang, nandyan lang siya. Wala naman talagang ginawa. But I'm really hoping that Biden's presidency will add more good than bad sa America. Kasi yun nga kalahati ng America didn't want Biden, they wanted Trump. Now
Actually,
I'm hoping na walang civil unrest na mangyari.
may malaking possibility yan, Rick. Kasi hindi pa nagko-concede. At nakita mo ba yung may video na pinakita sa Louisville in Kansas City? Two groups who are armed to the teeth. Yung merong tinatawag na parang alliance of basta puro mga white people. Tapos talagang armed, naka long rifles ang dala sa City Square. And then yung kanilang the other side naman yung mga blacks armado rin. Grabe, as in parang it's there like an army of
nakakatakot, no? Pero diyan mo makita din yung issues nila, the blacks versus white. I know yung sabi mo may mga armed blacks, but yung nakita mo yung mga protest sa US na these white guys stormed the Capitol, yung City Hall, tapos dadala mga long rifles, ganyan. Tapos hindi mo lang sila inaano ng police. Meanwhile, pag may egoy na feeling lang nila may baril na nakatago sa hoodie, tatanta rin nila 100 shots para siguradong patay, di ba? Para doon makita talaga yung white privilege, no? But going back to sa point, like for my friends in the opposition who really, really want to win, and I know, you have to also bear in mind, Duterte is not running for re-election. Okay, you have a completely new chance to you have a year and a half na lang left.
Carried away.
Yeah, I mean, like this, the thing they can put their own candidate there. They have a chance if they encourage more people to vote. They think that will make a difference. But yung sa akin, don't campaign na feeling mo, kasi nanalo si Biden, babalik ng decency. That's not gonna work. It's not going to be, we won't copy that. Do you think most of the poor Filipinos here who voted for Trump will decide to vote for somebody else just because Biden won now? It's not gonna make a difference to their lives.
And if I may add to what you just said, no? These same people who criticize the president about China are now empowered by another power that would that the perceived to be, kumbaga, positively perceiving na there's a chance that this administration will interfere with ours. So what makes it America different from China? Diba?
We're Filipinos. We love all things American.
Exactly. So,
man.
yun yung sinasabi natin inconsistencies, Rick.
Yeah, double standards. There you go.
Reklamo sila about China, tapos kung America mag-interfere, okay lang.
Pwede. Yung kasi America is the moral compass of the world. Diba nga, they say America is the one who decides what's good, what's bad, and we have to all follow. May kita mo sa Pilipinas, hagana natin kamahal ng Amerika. In a few weeks lang, makita mo ilang mga kaibigan mo magpo-post ng Happy Thanksgiving. Hintayin mo sa timeline mo.
Oo nga parang Thanksgiving.
Nakakatawa yung Happy Thanksgiving na yun.
Ilang dekada na ako dito sa Pilipinas. I never growing up did anybody say, hey, Happy Thanksgiving ngayon, social media. Thanksgiving,
you know what's crazy about Thanksgiving? They're celebrating a part in history where Americans shouldn't be proud of, because Thanksgiving was a moment in their history where a lot of Native Americans died in the hands of the government. Diba? Marami silang pinatay ng mga Indians.
Bro, hindi na pinag-uusapan ng Americans are good. They didn't kill anybody. They only do the right thing all of the time. We should look to them for our but we are Filipinos. We have our own I think what President Duterte did was try and make us a bit more independent. Na our foreign policies are not dependent on just one nation, diba? Yun yung ginawa niya na syempre bad trip sila.
Sabi ni Chad Gabriz, sabi po noon ni President Jose P. Laurel after niyang matalo sa 1949 presidential election, dahil sa pandarayan ng Liberal Party, the presidency is not worth a revolution. Kaya sana wag silang mag-revolution sa Amerika dahil sa election na yan. Okay?
Yeah, accept na lang, di ba? Talo sila or just move on na lang.
There's the next election cycle, although it's crazy because every 4 years you have a new president. Parang it's a short time to run a country. Although they have 2 terms that they can do consecutively. Unlike here in the Philippines, whoever thought of that brilliant idea to have just 1 6-year term na for a good president, that's very short. But for a very bad one, that's very long. Sabi nga nila, di ba? Ika nga nila.
I mean, hindi naman lahat sa Amerika masama, okay? I mean, they also do a lot of good stuff. It's just that there are some things that America is doing that, especially, di ba, yung nangingialam sa ibang bansa. Yung kwento ni Mikel the previous episode na, yung no to nuclear weapons, di ba? Binibigyan nila ng deadline yung mga countries like Iraq, Iran, and everybody else, Russia, na, huwag kayo mag-nuclear weapons. Pero ang US, sila lang yung may nuclear weapons. Parang, ang weird, di ba?
Ito na lang, Rick. Sa lahat ng mga citizens of any country in the world, the Americans can freely go to any country except China. But their allies, like the Philippines, will have to have a visa before entering their country.
Yeah.
Diba? How fair is that? Sobrang labo rin naman ng polisiya ng Amerika. Dapat convenient para sa kanila, pero kung yung kailang mga allies may pangangailangan, you have to go through the process. So
talaga, I mean, it's a power play, and sila talaga yung for the longest time they're the number 1 country in the world, right? In terms of everything. Tapos ngayon, ang problema lang talaga is China is very, very fast in improving their economies and everything else, di ba? Labor is cheaper and, tayo lahat. Bumibili tayo sa Lazada, sa Shopee. And these are all Chinese products. Well, not all, pero most of it. And America feels threatened. And that's why nagkakaroon ng problema with them. Ayaw ni China mag-budge, ayaw nila magpabuli. Diba? Kunwari, ang Pilipinas dati, nabubuli ng Amerika, China, ayaw nila. No. May sense of nationalistic pride din sila. So ngayon, the media is also painting a bad picture of China. Kasi nga, galit si Amerika sa kanila. And that's basically how things are happening. For example,
sa COVID pa lang, di ba?
May pagka-racist rin talaga ang ibang Pilipino, ating mga ibang kababayan. Ayaw
Hindi,
sa mga Chinese. May mga ganun talagang talagang katotohanan nating i-accept.
ang
Na
problema natin dito kasi itong mga may ayaw sa Chinese, kukonti lang din sila. It's not the majority of the Philippines, and it's mostly people here in Metro Manila or Luzon ang may ayaw sa Chinese. Kasi bakit? Yun ang pinapakita ng media. Okay? If you talk to a Chinese person dito, okay lang naman sila kausap. I just work here, and it's if my employer's not paying taxes, sorry, hindi ko alam, wala akong kinalalaman dyan, di ba?
No,
If my
at least gumagastos sila dito.
yun
Your
nga yun
fuel
eh.
consumption.
uy, nauubos na yung mga yung mga China.
Pogo, wala. Actually, that's why the real estate market, yung mga condos, ang daming mga bakanting condo. Restaurants are not doing as well because nobody's buying like before. Consumption in the stores, these Chinese people were buying. Plus, you also have to remember with the Chinese, especially the Pogo, sabihin kasi ng mga tao, medyo kupal sila or alam nilang ayaw nyo sa kanila eh. Di ba?
Oh,
Imagine living in another country and we're so racist towards them. You know, we're so bad. I mean, granted, may ibang mga Pogo na medyo bastos talaga yung ugali. But for the most part,
Pinoy
those
rin
guys
naman
are
eh.
working. Exactly. It's not like,
Pinoy rin naman, dami yung bastos sa
pare,
Pinoy.
you go to Hong Kong on a Sunday, di ba? Kalat ang mga Filipino everywhere doon. Di ba? Non-stop. But anyway, it's like, we let these people come in, we treat them like shit, and then we're wondering, di ba, bakit ganon? And only because they're Chinese. If the same number of Americans came in, tapos hindi po, yung Pogo ginawa mong white people, wala magre-reklamo dyan na Pinoy.
Oh yeah.
Welcome yan with open arms, bro. Kahit kung kinuha ng Amerika yung buong Spratlys, kung yung issue natin dyan sa Spratlys, kung Amerikano kumuha niyan, naku, wala magre-reklamo, bro. Saludo pa yung mga yan, Happy Thanksgiving pa yung mga yan.
Ito, but early on the pandemic stages, no, may nakasalubong ako dito na Chinese guy. He was in a mask, ganun. Tapos nagkasalubong lang kami. Tapos parang alam mo yun, yung pag nagkasalubong, nagkakaganon-ganon kayo. I'm sorry. Tapos alam mo, sinabi niya sa akin, no, I'm clean. No sin. Gumaganon siya. Alam mo yun, kasi siguro, gano'n ako, it's fine, it's okay, gano'n ako sa kanya. Alam mo, siguro kasi, sa daan dito, kunwari kung saan siya nagtatrabaho, baka naman pinagsasabihin, uy, virus, ginaganon siya ng mga Pinoy. Di ba? So parang, siya mismo, nahihiya siya kasi Chinese siya, tapos tingin ng mga tao sa kanya, may dala siyang virus. Alam mo yun?
Bro, until now, they still think that COVID was caused by some Chinese dude eating a bat. Okay? So until now, diba, there's people in America who are still blaming it on some bat. Diba?
Well, you can't blame some of the Americans because their president, the former president kasi has been saying
but that's why we're so xenophobic against the Chinese. Tama yung sinabi.
Diba, yung mga ganun eh. And tama ka, Rick, yung alam mo, it only goes to show that talaga, the teachable moment there talaga is we cannot judge an entire race because of 1, 2, 10, 50, 100 people's actions. What do you hear all the time from people when they talk about the Chinese? Walang mga modo yung mga yan, dumudura sa aeroplano, kadire, ganyan, walang diba? Walang culture. Alam mo, paminsan, do you ever even think about it really deeply na parang, baka hindi, kaya ganun na impression mo sa mga Chinese, dahil hindi mo sila naintindihan. Same din naman sila sa diba? May mga
have you ever been to places like Shanghai, Wuhan, Beijing, ganun? Ay, ang ganda ng mga cities nila. Ang babait ng mga tao dun. Hong Kong pa lang, di ba? Hong Kong is basically Chinese now. Pero pagdating mo dun, okay naman yung may mga ugali lang sila na hindi okay. Tulad na pagdudura, mga ganun.
May mga rude talaga Chinese. Di, pumunta ka ng mga fast food sa Hong Kong, fast food chain. Pansin mo, parang galit yung mga yung cashier, talagang pag kinausap ka parang papatayin ka, parang uy,
sorry, mag-order ka na.
Sorry. What do you want? Kulang na sa
Cebu, ganun din naman sa Cebu.
Pero
di ba parang laging galit ang mga Cebuano?
Alam mo yun rin eh. Kasi pag
But
pumunta ka
that's
ng
why.
Cebu, gano'n din ang mga Cebuano, medyo matigas yung
But
yung
that's why
inflection.
don't tar everybody with the same brush. That's the thing. We it's like saying every Filipino is tamad, 'di ba? It's not right, 'di ba? But
Yeah.
yun na nga, we treated these Chinese people so badly. We treated these Pogo so badly. Kahit sa village namin, nag-example kami dito na pinalayas mga Pogo 4 a.m. during the height of the lockdown.
Yeah.
And for me, that's really, at the end of the day, we still have to be humans. We have to treat people with respect. And Chinese have a very different culture to ours. But it doesn't mean we have to treat them like shit. These people came here, they were working, much like many Filipinos go to other countries to work. Kapal na mukha natin minsan eh. Parang, these Chinese are coming here to take our jobs. But then we send half of our country to
Oh my
other
gosh.
countries to take other people's
Millions.
jobs. Diba? And then we
Millions
hate
of people
Chinese, we hate
working in
Chinese, we hate Chinese. Pero pucha, yung Xiaomi Viber group, ang dami nag-order doon. Diba? Galit tayo sa check. Pero pucha, Huawei, bili na yan. Lazada, made in China, no problem. Diba? Everything you own is made in China. Jesus, show some appreciation, guys.
Sabi ni
Ito
Napoleon,
malamang, itong mouse
Sabi-
ko, made in China.
Lahat, bro.
Love ko to.
Yan ang sinasabi ko na na talagang
assembled in
yung
China
hindi
din to
consistent yung pag-uugali
Oo.
natin. Tingin natin tama tayo pero yung mga ginagawa natin na hindi natin na napapansin ay salungat sa mga ginagawa nating actions. Like for example, yan, sabi mo nga Rick, galit na galit ka sa China. Order ka naman ng order sa Lazada ng kung ano-ano na nanggagaling sa China. Di ba? Hindi mo ba naisip yung mga pinagsasabi mo?
Nakakatawa nga eh. Kasi kunwari, ayaw mo sa Chinese, boycott China. Pero pagdating sa mga brands ng Amerika, ay, wag yan, mahal. Di ba?
Uy, may isa akong example si Ilago, yung party list representative ng kabataan.
Yung babae.
Kabataan, di ba? Di ba? Ano yan? Siyempre, leftist, aktivista. I'm sure, same group yung mga nagsasabi, tuta ng Amerikano, lahat, blah, blah, blah. Tapos, meron siyang lumabas na litrato na I found funny. You know why? Because in that photo, you can really tell that she was wearing contacts to make her eyes look light or lighter. So I'm thinking, subliminally, I'm sure, I don't know if she even realizes it, she wants to look a little bit Caucasian or at least a little bit
Well, marami namang Caucasian. Baka Dutch. Or
light-colored contact.
Danish. Di ba?
Na when she espouses supposedly being a nationalistic na point of view. Pero ito siya, like any other girl who likes to look white and light-skinned and with light eyes, she's not immune to kumbaga the influences of the West. Even that photo of, remember yung photo ni na lumalabas virally ni
Renato.
Yes. Marali, he's eating a McDonald's.
He's drinking from a McDonald's cup.
Drinking from McDonald's cup. How
na
funny?
malamang Coca-Cola.
Diba,
Hindi man lang nag-Jollibee, grabe.
Grabe talaga.
Ano na nga, tama nga Rick, bakit hindi naman Jollibee? Baka ayon sa mga Chinese. Yan ang problema.
Uy, by the way, bukas na ang Shake Shack sa Greenbelt. Medyo excited ako.
Ano yan?
8 cats.
Shake Shack. Yes. Uy, alam mo ba, meron tayong mga kaibigan na mga taga Davao umu-order pa ha. Pinapa-deliver nila through yung mga air freight, Shake Shack. Sabi ko, wow, magkano ginagastos? Weird, man.
Baka yung airport to airport.
No, airport to airport.
Yung mabilis lang yun eh. Pero yun lang, paano yun? Ginagrab nila? Airport, yun.
Maybe.
No, sometimes like a friend who's traveling back, they'll ask them to buy for them.
Okay, pwede.
Carry na lang.
May mga friend ako galing pang US dati, no, wala pang Shake Shack dito. Minsan in and out, lalagyan nila sa hand carry nila, uuwi nila dito. Labo.
Tsaka yung
pagdating dito may molds na.
Kainitan ng Krispy Kreme. Maraming umu-order from Manila ng Krispy Kreme, yung wala pang Krispy Kreme sa Davao.
Yes, diba sa airport, ang lakas-lakas ng Krispy Kreme sa airport kasi nga uuwi ng mga tao, tapos naging Jayco.
Wala. Talaga tayo, tuta ng Amerikano talaga tayo. Americanized talaga. Anyway.
No, I mean, again, a lot of things coming out of America are good. I mean, most of it are really good. I mean, the people are good. And especially kunwari yung mga VFA, mga sundalo na nandito, most of them are good, man. I mean, marami silang natutulong dito like sa disaster
Sure.
natin dito, yung sa COVID response nila dito, ang dami nilang natutulong.
Well, the thing
It's
is, you
just
can't be
that,
as one-dimensional as as anything, as an entity or as an establishment, an institution. America cannot all be like anything in life. There's both the good and bad. Unfortunately, we have people who think, myopic eh. Parang either you're bad or you're good. And sometimes the funny thing is they don't even realize it that they themselves would be a perfect example of somebody who is contradicting itself. Sila yung nagpo-push na, oy, ito ang dapat gawin. Ang presidente ay naglalabag ng human rights. Dapat tanggalin yan. Pero they themselves don't really, practice what they preach. Let me read some of the messages here. Napoleon Plantilla, "Hay, bastos na ugali ng Pinoy. Sobrang bilib sa Amerika." Sabi ni Julio 30, para kay NATO Baba Reyes, cheap ang Jollibee. Bakit naman yung Jollibee? Baka mas malapit lang yung McDonald's. Wala siyang nakitang ibang
Pati yung baba niya nadali dito
Sabi,
Blinak niya ako. Alam mo, blinak ako niyan sa Twitter.
Oh my God, troll ka kasi, Rick. Ano ba yan?
Solid, kasi alam mong ginawa ko lang. Kasi nagreklamo siya about nag-sign si Duterte ng parang increase ng sweldo either ng sundalo or something o ng pulis. Tapos, okay to, ganun siya. Pero nasaan yung libreng edukasyon? Yung mga ganun siya. Yun sa tweet niya. Tapos ang sinagot ko lang, pre, okay lang ba maghanap ka na lang ng trabaho para hindi ka pabigat sa lipunan? Gumanon na ako sa tweet ko.
Ang sakit naman.
After nun, wala na. I mean, blocked na ako. Ay, gusto ko ba sanang magbasa ng mga tweet niya? Wala na, hindi ko na, ever since.
At least nga, Rick, medyo yung kumbaga, yung criticism mo, merong, it's a little bit constructive. Medyo may truth to it, di ba? Pero
I mean, I was really saying na, dude, alam mo yun, tulong ka naman tulong ka naman.
Pero yung mga trolls nila, iba, lang talaga, bato, duta puro kayo, wala, bobo kayo. Gano'n ang mga banat. Sabi ni Romeo Kawaling from our other Viber, other group that's connected to our streaming, nothing, the opposition here in the Philippines are pathetic liars and corrupt, manifested from the past 30 years from Cory to Abnoy Aquino reign. Sabi naman ni Nonoy Murillo, hello guys, question lang. Ano connection at tuwang-tuwa ang Dilawans brainless na porket nanalo si Biden matatanggal si PRRD? Well, we discussed
your guess is as good as mine.
May correlation para sa kanila yun eh. Sabi ni Arcadia Robinson, my first time watching this and I must say, I'm very pleased to hear a better discussion intellectually in relevant issues that matter to millions of Filipino people. Filipino people are smarter now. Choosing a leader, only stupid people will not see the progress and positive changes that President Duterte bring to majority of the Filipino citizens. It will take decades to clean up the rotten system that's been rooted for 30 years by the Liberal Party. Sabi ni Merly Fox, wait daw ng 12 days after the election ng Amerika, something surprise daw, sabi ng mga prophetic individuals, which I also believe, but need prayers. Alam mo, matagal na yan sila nanguhula for like the last 4 years. Parati silang meron, wait lang ha, bantay kayo, next October ha, patandaan niyo may mangyayari. Puro sila ganyan, puro sila si Trillanes nga, nalala nyo, in international audience pa, lumabas siya ng BBC, sabi niya, yung ratings daw ni Presidente by the end of 2018 will be less than 50% daw.
Tumaas na eh. From 88 to 91.
Hindi na daw yan magiging it's gonna go down.
Napansin ko lang, yung phone ko made in Vietnam. So safe ako, guys.
Oo, ganun ba? Ano ba to?
Samsung made in Vietnam pala.
Vietnam ba?
Vietnam ba to? Samsung din ako eh.
Yung
Ako
akin made in
Samsung
Vietnam.
made in Vietnam ba ang mga Samsung ngayon?
Itong ano ko, S10 ko nakalagay, made in Vietnam.
Ako, S10 na yun eh.
Oh, yun.
Sabi ni
Ito, ano ba ito?
Darlene,
Note 10 na ata ito.
sabi ni
Mainan.
Darlene Trabong, good evening. Nonoy Murillo, mga militia daw yung nasa US. Trixia Barrett Santa Catalina watching from Rizal. And we have a few people watching from Hong Kong in
Nice.
Okayama in Japan. Si
Hello,
Rick,
guys. You know,
Thank you for watching.
you have to ask yourself, whoever wins the
From
president.
Sweden pala, si Marlene Gatab.
Uy, Sweden,
Hi,
I've been there. Göteborg, Gottjakap, madami magaganda dyan.
Yun.
Ano, saan siya galing?
Sweden.
Sweden, wow.
Madami magaganda dyan. But,
nag-football ka doon, di ba?
yes. Sweden,
Nice.
Finland, and Denmark. May mga pen pals kami dyan.
Iba ka talaga.
Scandinavian,
Wala pang Facebook noong time na yun. But yeah, so going back, my question, guys, with elections and presidencies, you have to wonder because let's say in the US, they're so divided, conservatives, and whoever wins the presidency has to rule for the whole country. Hindi naman niya pwedeng gawin para lang sa liberal side, di ba? She has to do, that's why ayoko yung mga ideology na yun na dapat nandito ka. Kasi kung sino man yung presidente, he has to do what's good for the whole of the country or majority, di ba? You cannot put laws into place or do reforms that will only benefit yung mga nagboto sa kanya. Di ba? That's not how that works. So we have to stop thinking na ganyan dapat. No? Kung wari, si Duterte, ayaw mo kay Duterte, you cannot support anything he does. So galit ka kasi galit ka sa EJK or sa pagmumura ni Duterte. So nung nag-announce yung yung MRT, sobrang dami ng train, babalik na tayo sa 60 kilometers per hour. Ayaw pa rin nila i-celebrate, ayaw nila sabihin, oh, good job. Ayaw nila parang hindi pwedeng ganoon. Those things na whether you voted for Duterte or not benefits when they fix the MRT, they don't care who voted for them. Diba? They're just fixing it because it's beneficial.
Pero Mikel,
It's annoying.
Kasi, yung mga nagbabatikos kay Duterte, hindi naman kasi sumasakay ng MRT yung mga yun. Ikaw talaga.
Tama rin, Vic. At saka at the same time, itong mga to, saradong-sarado dahil sa sobrang sarado yung pag-iisip, hindi nila nire-recognize yung mga accomplishments ng gobyerno. By now, 4 years into it, ang dami yung makikita mo naman eh. Ang dami mga pagbabago.
That's why, that's why I always share it on my Facebook page. Like, kuwari si Mark Villar or sa DOTR, there's something good, like a new road or improvements in the MRT and all that. I put that out there, not to say, oh, Duterte did this. No, I don't care who did it. It's so that most people can see that there's good work being done that benefits us all.
Yes.
Diba? Improve public, kahit sabihin mo, Rick, they don't ride the MRT naman. They should be happy because more people ride the MRT, less traffic on the road for their nice cars, diba? So, if they're open-minded and say, okay, look past this guy's craziness, what he talks about and how he's, and see, okay, there are some good things. So, what I also want, sana, is whoever wins the next election, Biden makes a miracle, super unpopular na yung Duterte, maayos ng CIA yan. Yung candidate nila yung manalo, sana ituloy pa rin yung mga magagandang ginawa na ng previous admin. Hindi, ang mahirap kasi sa atin minsan, di ba, na-discuss na natin to dito, may darating na bagong admin, ititigil nila lahat ng magandang project kasi hindi sila yung gumawa niyan. Or ayaw nilang, to make that look good. But that's why it always stalls. Dapat continuous yan. Imagine all of these things, MRT pa lang, the subway, all of these good things, the roads, my God.
Ito
that's,
na, Mikel,
diba?
yung, di ba merong natayo na yung link between the MRT and LRT7, I think. MRT3, LRT7, the one that's connected. Remember that they had this long, drawn-out negotiations. The Ayala Group wouldn't agree. The SM
sa common station sa North EDSA.
Common station sa Quezon City, sa North EDSA. Matagal na yan what's the word? What's the Tagalog word for something that's been delayed for a long time? Natenga, di ba? Hindi nila matapos-tapos kasi hindi sila magka-agree to the terms or whatever kung saan ilagay yung common station. Dito ba sa side na to o dito sa side na to? Pagpasok ng Duterte administration, ano nangyari? Ang bilis! Years of not agreeing to anything.
Malapit na matapos yan eh.
Kaya nga, pagpasok ni Digong, tapos ang usapan, naayos ka agad. Diba? What does that tell you? That in itself should give you, if you're a smart guy, if you're an intelligent person, you would look at things in a way na you won't you won't allow yourself to be affected by your biases or your emotions or your yung sentimentality of it all. Just because you don't like the guy, it doesn't mean that you don't look at the accomplishments that this administration have done in the last 4.5 years. Sobrang dami talaga.
But
Kaya
Ron, they will never look past the extrajudicial killings, the way he talks, and all. I mean, kahit anong gawin mo, they won't, because really that's also how the media portrays it, and it just, they cannot make this person look good because nga then they won't win the
in
next
the same way,
election, diba?
Mikel, they won't look past the kapalpakan of the previous administration, like
Yeah, we don't want to live in the, diba, we don't want to live in the past either. Like,
Yeah.
pare, yung plaka ko pa lang, diba, alam, yung license plate, yung license card mo, and even the things like the
Nagmamala.
national ID. You know, that, diba, they
Nagmamala.
reported that in the news that they've already printed out so many cards and it's actually finally happening. I mean, like, I've always, I'm sirang plaka na ako dito, no? I always say, I look past who's doing it. I just want it to be done because it benefits the Filipino people. Okay? So, if he talks like a lunatic, if he says, I don't like it. Syempre, gusto ko makita ng mga anak ko magaganda yung words. But at the end of the day, what I teach my children, that's why even if you talk to my kids now, so they see the good things. Okay? Sabi ko, oh, look, nakita niyo MRT, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. So they can see these things that will make a difference. So we educate them not to look at the personalities involved, but to look at the reforms. And you know, what we need here is better education, better public transport, better healthcare, and slowly but surely, I am beginning to see this. So even if my friends hate me, they super galit na galit yan sa akin dahil feeling nila I'm a Duterte, whatever. I'm not. I am. How can I not be happy that the MRT is working?
Or there's universal healthcare now.
There's universal healthcare. I'm from UP. I used to pay to. Diba, I'm
Free
from UP.
tuition.
Diba, I'm from UP. I used to, in-announce nila free tuition. Kaya ako sa totoo lang, nababaliw ako pag nakita ko yung mga taga-UP nagra-rally. Sabi ko, lang, dati ang protesta natin is tuition. Ngayon, libre na yung tuition. Ano pa protesta natin ulit? Diba? I don't get it. So it's just for the sake of it, no? But anyway, I'm teaching my kids to look past the personalities and look at what actually is happening. Okay, so that I'm not so emotionally invested. I don't really care what Duterte does or Lenny does. I don't care. What I care is what happens. And I will support the person who can make it happen. No, like Ron says, like, well, let's say Duterte, kahit anong sabihin mo kay Duterte, di ba, he's a horrible, whatever. Political will, he has. Okay? Boracay was a shithole. It was falling apart. He said, shut it down. Yeah. Nobody else would have said it. This lockdown, people hate this lockdown. Daming galit na galit. Da, 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 da. He locked us down, shut the whole economy because he was scared that people were going to die. Okay? Whether it's right or wrong, he decided to do it. Okay? That's political will. And I can get behind that. Okay? But it doesn't mean that I'm a die-hard Duterte, kahit anong sabihin na Duterte is all correct. And no, that's not how the world works. It's just that, it's just people now kasi, kung nalaman nila may sinuport ka na, happy ka na kay Duterte, ibig sabihin you're a Duterte person, happy ka sa EJK, happy ka sa ganto-ganto. Yun ang masaklap dito sa Pilipinas. It's you're here or there now. Hindi, dapat sa gitna pa rin tayo. It's the same with the US. It's either Biden or Trump. So, ayaw nila kay Biden, but ayaw nila kay Trump. So they still voted for Biden, di ba? They're not happy with Biden now. And this is actually, Ron, to the point of the US elections, there's a lot of people who still have a dilemma now. Because they voted for Biden, they don't like him. So they're waiting to see now what this guy is gonna do because they're not happy with what he stands for.
Ako medyo lukewarm ako about Biden, Mikel, but after the obviously of course you can't base everything on a single speech that he did, no, but yung kanyang speech, yung pinaka-recent one, I was trying to look at the if I can get a read on him as a person. And coming from comments from Republicans mismo, like the former New Jersey governor, si Christie. Remember?
Chris Christie, yeah.
Big set guy na used to...
COVID din yan. He was sick with
COVID.
COVID.
Christie,
diba?
Iba yun, di ba?
Staunch yun. Supporter yun. And then he said sa ABC feed, live coverage ng ABC, sabi niya, we may not agree with each other politically, but Joe Biden is a good man. Sabi niya ganun. So ako parang okay, why not, diba? Let's see what happens. Let's see what he does. Kasi for me, I'm a little bit torn, obviously, because when Trump was president, hindi masyado nakikialam ang US, pero I'm sure they still did some things behind the scenes. to sort of like sway public opinion and stuff like that. But in totality, parang walang pakialam si Trump sa atin eh. 'Di ba?
Yeah,
But now, ang ano lang sa akin, and the thing that's making me a little bit 50-50 about Biden is the fact that ayoko lang kay Trump talaga is ayaw niyang suportahan yung Clean Air Act or yung carbon emission. Na I think it's about time that people listen to science, because the same people who deny that there is global warming are the same people who believe that the Earth is flat.
and
Think
also don't believe in COVID and wearing masks.
Yeah.
Yes. Says, yun ang ano, medyo I'm a little bit torn about that. So kayo mga talagang, syempre, yung mga supporters ni Presidente, they want Trump to win because Trump medyo may okay relationship nila ni ano, wag mo kayong mabahala. Kasi meron ring silver lining sa mga lahat ng bagay. Gaya ng pinag-usapan natin kanina, initially in this program when we started off, that everything is not black and white. May gray area lahat ng bagay. So what seems to be a disadvantage for us doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be really bad for us. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in this presidency.
To the Duterte supporters out there who are worried, okay, my suggestion lang is this. One, there's a lot of you. Okay? Many people voted for him beforehand, and I think more people would actually vote for him now. If there was an election today, he'd probably win. Okay.
Oh yeah, he'll win by a landslide more than.
There's a lot of you. So no matter what destabilization or false reports that come out, 4.5 years already have passed. Nandiyan na sa brain nyo. Alam nyo, nakita nyo kung ano na ang nangyari. So if you really believe in it, na happy kayo sa ginawa ni Duterte, feeling nyo this is good, it can continue, then you vote again. Come 2022, diba? It's just, you still have your right to vote. And kahit anong mangyari, kahit anong sabihin ni US, mahirap kasi nga he's so popular. Yun yung mahirap. And that's what upsets a lot of people on the other side, is they're up against somebody extremely popular na no matter what is happening, is getting more and more popular. But then, yun na nga, everybody's attached to Duterte, but he's not running in 2022. He's gonna be either retired somewhere or very ill. Diba? Yun naman hinihintay ng kabila na mamatay na yan, diba? But it's not him. And we don't even know if Sarah is going to run or whoever. Malay mo si Bongo. I don't know. Diba? But they're always, takot na takot sila kay Duterte because he's so popular. But he's not running. He's done.
That's right. Rick, baka gusto mo basahin to from Tanaka NG.
Tanaka, good evening. So, sabi niya, kailan kaya matatapos ang pagmamanipula nila sa mga tao sa mundo? Mga makapagpasikat lang kasi. Mga medyang nagmamanipula, control sa mga utak at buhay ng mga tao, bata, matanda sa mundo. Spread good manners and right conduct. Hindi yung pagmanipula at control sa mga tao. Give the right justice. No to secret, illegal activities, agendas to envy, parasites, viruses, bullies of evils, demons, dark words around the world, the whole world. Heal them, Lord. Wala lang mapanood.
May disclaimer sa bandang uli.
Okay, parang sorry kung kami lang yung choice mo tonight, but hopefully nag-enjoy ka.
Sabi ni Ruby, ito sabi ni Ruby, true, Mikel, since the paid media don't want to let these kind of news come out, we as DDS supporters should share these good news so lots of people will know the difference of a working government.
Yeah, agree.
Sabi ni Julio 30, ang maganda kay PRRD, tinuloy lahat ng projects, walang pinatigil. Hindi katulad ng nung pinalitan niya na porket project ni GMA ay hindi na itinuloy. Dahil,
yes.
Diba?
And one particular project na bakit nagalit ako kay Pinoy was yung canal or yung canal system dito sa drainage system sa Metro Manila. GMA had this big project na gusto niya hukayin yung buong Metro Manila, ayusin yung mga drainage para hindi na never na magbaka dito. May contractor na, may kontrata na. Nung nagpumalit si Pinoy, sinabi niya tigil. So the contractor, kung sino man yung mga engineers, whatever, dinemanda ang Pilipinas.
Nanalo pa, di ba?
At natalo ang Pilipinas. Nagbayad tayo ng bilyon-bilyon sa kanila. Pero para kay Pinoy, since kay GMA yan, wala akong pakialam, bayaran natin yan. So, tinan mo ngayon, binabaha pa rin tayo, buisit.
Wala,
Diba?
maraming mga proyekto na sana ay naayos na lahat, kagaya ng transportation system natin sa Metro Manila, which was meron ng kumbaga may blueprint na yan sa panahon pa lang ni Marcos. Dahil pagpasok ni Cory, lahat ng mga projects that were supposed to be laid out already during the time of Marcos ay hindi na tinuloy. Dahil siyempre, project ni Marcos. Yan ang hindi ko maintindihan sa mga politiko natin. Unang-una, isipin na lang nila dapat na hindi naman sila, they're not kings or queens na dapat meron silang sense of ownership for everything that's happening in the country. They're there as public servants, di ba? And the money that's being spent on these projects come from the people. And you're there to facilitate everything. You're there, you're given the power by the people so that everything that we want to happen in our country will happen. You're supposed to do our bidding, not the other way around.
And that's the problem here in our local politics. Pucha, waiting shed pa nga lang, may pangalan na ng congressman kung sino nag-ano nun eh.
Basketball court.
Basketball court o by councilor, ganyan, or barangay captain, ganito. Parang,
alam mo Rick, ito reminder lang sa ating mga nanonood, sa ating mga viewers. Kasi yung 2022, mabilis lang yan eh. Mangyayari na yan, bigla na lang. Before you know it, when you wake up tomorrow, you're about to go to your precinct to elect the new president. Pag nangyari yon, isipin niyo yung conversation natin tonight. Lahat ng mga ginawa nila, gumawa po tayo ng laundry list of things that the politician that's running for a position in government that they've done in the last 6 years. And if they're one of those people who say things about China is stealing your jobs. China will buy everything off here in the Philippines. They will control the Philippines. We have to get rid of China. If they also are the ones who told you na ano yung mga reklamo mo basta anything that has to do with lies in politicking, in bullshit, tandaan po ninyo yung mga pangalan nila. Para pagdating ng 2022, wag na po ninyo silang botohin. Parang awan nyo na. Diba? Matuto na sana tayo by 2022. We vote for people who have done good service in the last 6 years. Kung bago sila na kandidato, pag-aralan po natin kung saan po nanggagaling itong kanilang advokasya, kung bakit sila tumatakbo pagka presidente or pagka mayor or pagka gobernador or pagka senator or congressman. Sana po matuto.
Ron Poblete for mayor, yun lang masabi ko.
Uy, dati konsehal lang, ngayon mayor na.
Okay pa rin yun. Sa Las Piñas, kailangan ng bagong mayor dyan sa Las Piñas. Si Ron
Poblete na lang.
Kailangan na palitan yung palpak dyan sa Las Piñas. Ang daming galit dyan sa Las Piñas eh.
Okay. Nakakatawa tong comment na flinash mo. Ay, yun before sana.
Saan?
Kasi may personal experience ako. Yung ano yun? Ay, nawala. Yung sinabi niya, yung mga Pinoy napaka-colloquial, bumili ng Levi's jeans sa Amerika. Made sa kala.
Ito. Sino ba to? Check natin. Sa group eh.
Yan yung mga trolls natin, mga paid trolls natin. Joke lang. Kasi nga Facebook user na nakalang.
Sino na yung Murillo nag-post niyan?
May, alam mo, totoo yung sinabi mo kasi nung bata kami, we were able to go to the States for a vacation. So pumunta kami sa outlet sa Barstow, California.
Okay, Barstow.
Daming outlets doon, di ba? Oo, di ba? Tapos, punta ako sa Nike. Kasi sa Davao at that time, bihira ka makita ng Nike doon eh. So may nakita akong polo shirt. Sa Nike, puro sports lang yan usually, di ba? May nakita akong polo shirt. Ang ganda. Sabi ko, ito na, kasi discounted siya, 50% off, binili ko. So, pagbalik ko sa hotel, nakita ko made in the Philippines, parang nalugi, parang,
Parang si Enrique na yung namili ng one of our relatives went to Tommy Hilfiger store in New York. Namili siya ng shirts para ipasalubong sa Pilipinas. Tapos yung nabili niya yung mga shirts pagdating sa Pilipinas, pagdating made in the Philippines.
Ibig
Grabe,
sabihin
diba?
lang yan, it's made with better quality.
Yun.
Yan ang ibig sabihin yan.
And cheaper labor. And cheap.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, there's no cheaper labor than China now. So, yeah. Kaya
Well,
lahat ng
that's
binibili
true.
nyo made in China. Kaya yung
Hindi
mga
na,
galit sa China.
China, Mikel, magiging made in Vietnam na. Kasi
Like even a car, I bought a car recently na I got a car made in China siya. Kasi tapos dati kasi parang, di ba, parang phobia na mata siya, but it's actually pretty good. So, good job, China. Ang galing ni China.
Actually, their products are actually getting better. Kasi siguro, if you rewind a bit, siguro mga 10, 15 years ago, yung mga made in China products, lalo na yung mga copied products, yun talaga medyo masama talaga yung quality. Like stuff that we get from CDR King, okay na kung lalampas yung mouse mo ng mga 2-3 months, diba? Swerte ka naman.
Kawawa ng CDR King ngayon, no? Nakapunta ka sa CDR King ngayon. Parang, dati it's bustling with activity.
Hindi, wala. Pinalitan na rin ng Lazada yan.
Wala na kasi, number one, wala nang gumagamit ng CDs. Wala nang nagbe-burn, wala na lahat, diba? Tapos, pakonti na lang din yung thumb drives, gumagamit ng thumb drives kasi may cloud storage na, 'di ba? So wala na yung ganong klaseng technology before. Medyo hindi na kasi nagagamit ngayon. So para siyang naging Betamax type na story.
Alam mo, gusto ko lang i-gamitin yung point mo ni Rick sa ating topic ha. Kasi alam nyo mga kaibigan, kaya tayo ang pinakamagandang example sa sitwasyon ng Pilipino ay isang tao na pinupukpok ang ulo sa sariling bato or sa bato. Kasi kailangan din natin mag-upgrade sa ating mga politician. Kailangan din natin i-upgrade yung sistema ng gobyerno. Mikel, if you know Attorney Ahmed, Attorney Ahmed is a brilliant lawyer, supporter of the president. He's actually he's a distant relative of the president. He has a blog called Luminous with Attorney Ahmed, and you know that?
Yeah.
He's like such a a smart guy, sarcastic, very intelligent. Tapos nagkaroon sila ng parang debate ni Orion about federalism.
So, kaya nangyari yun.
Napapopcorn ako the last few days because banatan silang dalawa. Talagang si Ahmed would say really crazy things about federalism being impractical, not suited, or won't stand a chance because at this point in time wala pa rin nangyari. And then you have Orion syempre saying his thing, and then they would go back and forth, and you have the supporters of Orion and Correct Movement responding on Luminous and Attorney Ahmed's thread. Pero alam mo, na-realize ko, if there's no disagreement, and if you're familiar with yung Marxist dialectics ba yun, Mikel? Sino ba na gano'n ng if you remember your Paul Tsai and material dialectics, or it has something to do with having two truths, two people debating on a topic, and then at the end of the argument or debate, you have a higher truth. And I think that's what's missing, and people should appreciate. No, you are not there to just disagree with each other. You are there to find the truth. And if it takes another person to contradict what you're saying, for you to realize that maybe I'm wrong and maybe I need to improve on my thesis, it would be better for mankind if that happens. That we appreciate the fact that we have an opposing view. Mahirap lang.
Hindi na ngayon Hindi na ngayon kasi pag nangyari lang ngayon, unfriend na kagad
Tapos maiinis, mabubunat, mumurahin, tapos mag-ad hominem, tanga ka, bobo ka, hindi mo alam pinagsasabi mo.
Sabi ni Chad Gabres, dialectical materialism po.
Yan ang gusto ko sa mga viewers natin. They always help us with the information we need. Kasi nga medyo slow din kami, guys. So we need, matatanda na we forget stuff.
Mamaya Chad, i-google ko yan.
Dialectical materialism this is something that I can't forget about the lessons. One of the lessons I can't forget when I took up Pol Sci back in college. Parating it hits me kasi it's a very important concept, no? Because ultimately we're social beings, eh. And di maiiwasan that we, most of the best theories, the best ideas came from conversations like this. Another person, and then most of the time the best ideas come out because there's always one opposing your idea or adding to your truth. And
devil's advocate, diba? Parang gano'n.
Kaya tinatawag natin devil's advocate. In meetings, Rick, Mikel, I'm sure in your meetings, when you come up with strategies for your business, there's always one person who say, devil's advocate lang, ha? Okay lang ba? Kasi baka naman lahat tayo nag-agree tapos dahil everyone is just kissing up to the boss or who's just want to be upon everything the boss says, ayaw kumontra. Di usually nagiging palpak yung sistema, eh. Kailangan talaga may isang person, kahit na smart ass siya, hindi mo siya gusto, naiinis ka sa kanya, parating kontra ng kontra, but kailangan mo pa rin pakinggan, eh. Na baka naman may point tong tao na to. At baka kailangan kasi if you enter into a process or a conversation thinking that you're the smartest guy in the world, there's no room for growth. And even the smartest guys in the world, in the history of the worlds, anong definition ng genius, Mikel? Definition of a genius is somebody who understands that he doesn't know everything.
Yep. That's
right?
me. Pag sa mga meeting namin, tatanong, guys, anong gagawin natin? Hindi ko alam, eh.
Yun sabi ni Chad, exemplified in an equation. Thesis plus antithesis is synthesis. No. Kaya nga parating nagagamit yung term na synthesis, that's where yan yung process of getting into a higher plane of understanding. And because at the end of the day, we find meaning in everything that we begin to understand. And there's nothing in the world that we understand fully. Even our spirituality and the purpose of living or the purpose of our lives. So, I think, magbibig takeaway na ba tayong tatlo nito sa ating conversation tonight?
Ikaw ang boss dito, kami. Kami mga yes men na kami. Yes men lang kami dito. Kahit anong gusto mong gawin, Sir Ron, game kami.
Hindi kasi baka may nakalimutan lang kasi meron pang may mga pasaway moments pa na nangyari in the last few days rin, eh. By the way,
dami yan.
I just wanted to add another thing that I actually tried to speak to someone from the DILG regarding having a contact from the cybercrime unit of the PNP, because alam mo, there are a few unscrupulous people who are taking advantage of social media, taking advantage of the platforms, including Facebook. And you have to be careful. Lalong-lalo na people who are desperate to earn money because they're using this need for an easy fix or for easy cash to take advantage of you. So ngayon, gusto ko sana malaman from the cybercrime unit how fast it will be to to trace people on social media. Para mahuli natin itong mga gago na to na nagtitake advantage of people. Because I know somebody kasi, Mikel, Eric, sinabi ko na sa kanya, don't go to Facebook or yung mga groups na yan para lang mapabilis yung mo kasi syempre siguro gustong makakuha ng lisensya, kasi ngayon mas stricto na sa LTO ngayon, Rick, Mikel. You have to take a test. You really have to do the tawag nito? Meron silang you have
course.
to take a course, no? May course, hindi lang yung practical course, meron din yung para yung malaman mo yung mga
theoretical.
theoretical that you have to pay for, tapos you have to take, and then it takes you a couple of weeks yata before you can, and they're very
Yeah.
strict on that now. And
For example, sa motor,
Oh.
yung certificate makuha mo, kunwari ako, nag-aral ako sa Honda dito sa Parañaque, to ride a motorcycle. Tapos may ano pa kami, may passport kami niyan. Tapos diyan kami score and everything. Tapos after that, you graduate. Talagang may certificate ka. And that certificate, ipapakita mo yan sa LTO when you're applying for a license. Or kung bibili ka ng motor, kailangan mapakita mo yung certificate na yan. So it's
Tama
very
lang.
tama lang, 'di ba? Kasi at least alam nila na trained ka, 'di ba? Kahit yung basic way of riding the motorcycle lang.
Pero
So yun, actually, yeah.
ang gusto ko sana i-share sa ating mga viewers at sa inyo is yung sophistication of itong mga con artist na nasa social media. Kasi ang ganda, meron silang mga meron silang way of convincing you that they're not scam artists. Like, ay sir, kahit na wag ka muna magbigay ng 50%. Pag nakuha ko na yung lisensya, saka na kayo magbayad. Mga ganyan mga bayad. At saka, sir, mag-ingat kayo kasi ngayon sa maraming nagpapanggap, taluloko, kawawa naman. Mga ganyan. Di ba? Mga ganyan. Mga ganyan. Kahit na siguro, bayaran lang ninyo yung mga 1,000 lang muna. Tapos pag nakuha ko ng lisensya, pakita ko po sa inyo, ipapadala ko sa inyo. Mga ganyan. Ganun talaga sila kumbaga, in terms of manipulation, using cues, mga verbal cues, to make you feel confident in them. Sobrang sila sophisticated na talagang titry nila kunin ang loob mo para hindi mo silang isipin na manloloko. Ang ginagawa nila, reverse psychology. Sabihin nila yung mga scam kaagad sa'yo. Uy, mag-ingat kayo sa ganito. Kasi pag sinabi ng tao, kasi ikaw ang nagsasabi sa kanila kung ano yung mga ginagawa ng mga scam artist, tingin mo kaagad na hindi sila scam artist.
Pero Ron, di ba ganyan din yung style mo sa mga babae?
Medyo late na late
Miguel,
na.
mag-ingat ka. Ikaw, may sab na nakikinig sa'yo.
Wala na yan. No choice na yan. Naloko na yan.
Kaya sabi ko sa kilala, alam mo, gawin mo na lang yung tama. Kumuha ka ng lisensya the right way. Tapos marami sa atin yung namumroblema, they want to get their passport right away and then they go to Facebook, they look for groups na mga fixers. What you're doing is you're enabling these people to keep on doing the illegal things that they've been doing. And it only it exacerbates, it makes it worse, the situation that we are in right now. First of all, you have to remember, corruption starts with a person who's allowing corruption to prevail. That means you who benefits from the corruption. And there are fixers because there are people who want it fast, who want to bypass the system, who are impatient. Okay? So, yun lang. I just wanted to make sure.
Ang masakap dyan, Ron, is diba, we all want better LTO, better DFA. But then, when they implement yung mga kailangan mo mag-testing, parang shit, baka naman pwedeng bayaran ko na lang para mas mabilis.
Exactly.
Diba? So, it's really, but hopefully lang, like my lang with the government, is when they do these things, like new passport, new testing, is they make it efficient. And they make it really worthwhile. Bayad ka, you can do it online, you can go, alam mo yung so hindi ka napipilan na matagal. Yun lang naman Kasi like they do it in all the other countries. We had to apply for yung anak ko, like my son, we applied for yung passport niya sa UK, all online, pati yung interview, Zoom, it was all done and they sent it. It was so professional. Sana maging ganyan na rin sa Pilipinas, I think at some point. Kahit yung sa COMELEC, di ba, we want more people to vote. But then medyo hassle pa rin yung pag-register sa COMELEC. I know many people who have tried to register but they had a very hard time. And plus also now in this time of COVID, you still have to make a personal appearance to make, sana, di ba, they can do it via the passport. Anyway, those kinds of things, sana mas mapabilis. So that if it is easier and more efficient, people will do that instead of paying a fixer. But ang mahirap talaga, may mga entitled din kasi talaga na ayokong pumila. That stuff is for the poor. Yung mga ganyan, yung mga, hindi ako pipila dyan sa DFA, hassle.
Oo, di ba?
Ako ayoko talaga dati ron, kahit si Sab na yun, nanonood si Sab naman, nag-smile na patay tayo dyan.
So yun nga, yun,
But,
nakita ko
but
na.
when I used to visit before, nung nasa England ako, like umuwi ako for, kuwari, passport renewal, LTO, ayaw ko pumunta ron. Kasi nga mukha akong foreigner, di ba? So malayo pa lang ako, nakikita na ako ng mga fixer or ng mga,
May
kahit
target.
mga government aid, yung mga nandun talaga, pipirahan talaga ako malayo nun. So si Sab palaging pinapaharap ko sa kanila or tatagalugin ko kaagad. Kasi malayo pa lang, kita, uy, wala ako yun to, magugoyo na natin. So, alam mo yun? So, sana mawala na talaga yung mga ganun. So that people don't have to resort to fixers and all that. And sana yung mga fixer, yung mga gago dyan, yung mga, these people who take advantage of people can be given better employment opportunities where they don't have to cheat people out of their money. Although kahit anong gawin mo, madami pa rin mga loko dyan talaga na mga scam artists. Dami
At saka,
dyan.
the little thing that you can do to lessen the corruption in government, start reporting them. Although marami na nagre-report ngayon dahil sa 8888 ng gobyerno, tuloy lang ninyo. Tsaka yung mga tao na ayaw ma-bother or ayaw ma-hassle or ayaw, kasi syempre kailangan, paminsan maabot yan ng kaso at kailangan mong mag-appear sa korte or kailangan mong kasuhan yung tao. Huwag po nating pabayaan yung inyong karapatan na mag-report.
Report nyo.
Report nyo.
Ito, di ba nga yung sa pastilla scam, di ba, sa immigration, ang gaganda ng mga kotse. Yung mga bad tips mga minsan. Nakakalood ko minsan yung mga Senate hearing o yung mga, you're already under investigation for corruption and lifestyle. Dadating ka doon, ganda ng relus mo. ganda ng kotse mo. Parang minsan gago din.
Ito daw, last topic natin siguro. Itong may bago po tayong PNP chief.
Ay, naku, patay tayo. Quiet. Ayaw po namin matokhang.
Ngayon, syempre, dito pumapasok yung usap-usapan on first impressions. It doesn't mean that the person is a bad person or a bad cop. Siguro, he made a mistake. It was caught on camera during a pandemic where they gathered. Masama, 'di ba? Bawal nga ang mga pulis nga dapat ang nagsasabi na hindi dapat ginagawa ang mass gathering at nagkaroon sila ng maninita at nag-issue then NCRPO chief, 'di ba? Ngayon siya ang ginawang PNP chief ni Presidente Duterte. Look, sabi nga ni Mikel, not all the decisions that the president makes you have to agree with. You can question it. That's what a democracy is all about. But you can't take away the fact also that the president may know more than you. He may know the person better than you. And whatever logic or reasoning or rationale behind the appointment of Sinas as PNP chief, only the president knows why. And why it's important that he appoints him. Maybe the guy...
One of the things probably is because he trusts him. Malaki yung tiwala niya kay Sinas.
Possible.
Or the PNP people themselves, the employees, or the police mismo, they look up to this guy and will respect him. I don't know. If he had a manyanita in a pandemic, maybe he's popular. I don't know. Ako personally, I'm not a fan, but I don't know enough of the guy. And yung argument ng ibang tao kasi he has to lead by example, ganyan. I get it, tama yan. But at the end of the day, he's there to lead the police. No, and if he can get them, he can reform them, then good, give him his chance to do it. And minsan yung argument din ng ibang tao, why will we listen to him? Siya nga hindi sinunod yung batas. Try mo ikaw, wag mo isunod yung batas. Tapos pag hinuli ka ng pulis, bakit si Sinas hindi nyo hinuli? Tayo na. Diba, that's not the logic. Just because somebody else gets away with murder doesn't mean we should all try to do it, no. There might have been reasons we don't know. Just give him a chance. He's been appointed. Wala na tayong magagawa. No? We can cry all day and bitch on social media. I don't think Duterte is going to change his mind.
And so far, the batting average of the president has been very good. I mean, all his instinct for these things, politically and administratively, has been good so far.
Yung good news naman with the PNP is the PNP chief only stays for a very short period of time. They're not there for forever.
Hanggang May na lang ata si diba?
It's not even that long.
And the thing about the PNP is, if a new PNP chief is running the show, it doesn't mean that the policies will change. Diba?
Yeah.
So, yun ang difference dyan. Hindi kagaya ng pag pumalit ng presidente. Yung presidente has the, they have the prerogative to change or to change the policies of the previous administration. But the PNP, I think, is a different case altogether because the answer to the president at the end of the day.
Hindi rin natin madadamay kasi on how Filipinos look at it, no, right now, because it always has been a popularity contest, diba? I mean, dito sa Pilipinas, it's always been a popularity contest. Kung sino ang sikat, yun ang deserving or something to that point. No?
Tsaka, Rick, they're very fast to judge based on like a very small bit of information about a person. We judge them already.
Yeah, exactly. Yun nga eh. So, popularity contest. Okay, so for example, usually ang mga nagagalit talaga or may mga comment about kay General Sinas are the opposition. And some people also is because of the Manyanita. Okay, people make mistakes. We understand that they should be leading by example and all of that. All of that. But the thing is kasi, tama si Miguel, hindi natin alam kung ano talaga yung pakay ni Duterte. But para sa akin, number one, PNP chief yan eh. Yan ang magiging head ng police mo. It has to be somebody that you trust. Okay? I'm sure pinagalitan na yan ni Digong. Okay? Ito, loko ko talaga, huwag mo na ulitin yan. I'm sure nangyari na yan sa conversation na yan. And that's why si Sinas, nag-apologize siya on national TV. I'm sorry that happened, gano'n. But
medyo nabanan siguro yung presidente yan. Nagde-deliver ba siya when he was NCRPO? Chief, marami ba siyang na-accomplish?
Yeah.
Baka marami talaga siya na-accomplish na we just don't know. And alam nyo, mas don't be surprised if kasi ngayon wala kayong narinig about the PNP. I mean, they're quietly doing their jobs. And ang pinaka-tell natin dyan na they're doing a good job is during the pandemic where you expect more the crime rate to rise has actually has gone down. So meron said that person is doing something good as NCRPO chief here in Metro Manila.
I really think that aside from that, I think it's really a collective effort. No, the whole government body, both local and national, have been doing their jobs. No, again, it's not perfect. There is much room for improvement, but nakita nga natin, di ba, based on numbers, criminal activity has gone down. So mukhang okay. I mean, it's not really what the media is pertaining the Philippines to be. Na wild west dito, hindi naman, di ba? I mean, you can walk around Metro Manila right now and feel relatively
safe. And it's funny because syempre di maiwasan na may mga meron mga news about shootings that happen in the city. Hindi naman talaga mawawala yan. Merong krimen na mangyayari. Kahit anong syudad naman merong mangyayaring ganyan. Kaso lang yung ating mga opposition, meron lang mangyayaring konting na napalabas sa TV. Ay, ang gulo na talaga sa Pilipinas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 incidents make is the norm already for them. Porket meron
yung panahon nga ni Pinoy, 'di ba, may barilan sa EDSA. Yung parang may van na tinigil tapos niratratan tapos may kinidnap ganun. EDSA mismo.
Rick, iba talaga yung panahon ni Pinoy, Rick, kasi ang tao talaga takot na lumabas ng kanilang sa kalsada dahil maraming adik. At maraming talaga, krimen. Yeah. May feel mo naman talaga yan eh. Pero sa panahon ngayon, pag-usapan na natin ni Mikel to eh. And I've heard this story from different people from different walks of life attesting that in their neighborhood, kagaya dito sa Las Piñas, Mikel, dyan sa may Marcos Alvarez, there's a place there that I go to frequently to have my kinukwento niya sa akin. Sabi ko, sir, gaano katagal ka na dito nag-aayos ng computer? Matagal na ako dito, sir. Mga 9 years or 10 years na. So, anong difference nung panahon ni Pinoy at panahon ni Duterte? Ay, malaki, sir. Yung time, yung mga 2015, 2014, Nakatakot lumabas dyan sa sa kalsada. May mga naghahabulan pa daw. yung mga may dalang kutsilyo tapos wild bro. As in, sabi ko, talaga. Sa Las Piñas yan maraming mga loko-loko. Ngayon nawala daw lahat yung mga gago sa kalsada. At malaki daw talaga nabawas sa krimen in their neighborhoods that used to be very dangerous to walk kasi sobrang dilim, kulang sa ilaw. Sabi ni Dominic Solpico, thanks sa pag-discuss. Naalala ko na kaya dapat may question hour din tayo para at least malaman kung bakit yung pasya ng presidente. Speaking of the police, our hearts go out to, of course, the HPG.
Yung sa Cavite.
Sa Cavite na who stopped a traffic violator. Walang conduction sticker yung sasakyan, walang mga plate number. Tapos you can see in the video they were talking to the guy very politely pa, naka-body cam na yung police. And alam mo, doon pa lang dapat nagtaka na sila nung sinarahan sila ng bintana. Sa Amerika pa yun, pinilit ng buksan ng pintuan ng pulis yun para saraduhan mo.
Tinutukan na ng baril yun.
Diba? Dinipasan na ng baril ng pulis para ibuksan ng sarado yung bintana. Pero ang babait pa ng mga pulis, diba? Parang nakikiusap pa na tapos parang inantay pa nila bago kinatok pa ng pulis yung pintuan ng driver para, to get them to comply. And then what happened? Shots fired, cop killed on the spot. Buti na lang yung kumatok ni may body cam, tumakbo towards the front of the vehicle. So the shooter was aiming at the police car. I don't know if this is accurate, but ang duda or ang assessment ng karamihan na nakausap ko about it is the guy with the body cam shot the shooter from behind. Kasi he scampered towards the trike at the corner of the street in front of the car. So the guy was backing down shooting at the police car. Hindi niya nakita yung sa likod niya. Shot him siguro in the head. Dead. And then the guy driving the car, the driver, left the scene, diba? And was caught, by the way. I don't know if today or yesterday.
So who are these guys? Do we already know who these guys are?
May mga yung shooter, ang asawa is from the Navy. And then when the video came out, merong mga nag-comment na ito, the same guy pala, may mga kaso. Kasi back in 2016, naglabas rin ng baril. Threatening a few people, naka-video rin. So may history of talaga, kagaguhan tong guy na to. Hindi lang natin alam, baka may droga sa sasakyan, kaya, they were confrontational. And then he decided, hey, I got a Bushmaster with me. I can shoot it out with these guys. Man, alam mo, itong mga paminsan, yung mga tao na akala nila ang dali ng buhay ng pulis, pag when you're in a shootout, hindi po ito parang pelikula na may ikipagbarilan ka lang. Ang unang iisipin mo is to get cover. Mm-hmm. That's the first instinct that any policeman will do. They will find cover. They will not all of a sudden, parang lito lapid, lalabas ng baril tapos may ikipagbarilan.
Kala mo parang John Wick lang din.
Oo.
Pero alam mo yun, I'm sure pag binaril ng pulis yung guy na yun, nandyan na yung CHR, naka-ready na, nakawawa naman. But also, to everybody, just bear in mind that, like Ron said, not all police are bad. Okay? Ang dami kasi mga walang sympathy for the police. But, a lot of these policemen are good people that put their lives at risk day to day for us. No? Hindi lahat yan magnanakaw, hindi lahat yan kasama sa drugs or whatever it is. No? And we need police. We will always need police. And I, for one, I'm grateful for the good cops out there who risk their lives on a day-to-day basis. Not just for criminality, they also do a lot of things, kahit yung traffic ganyan, or pag sa may calamities, they're always there to help, no? So, wag tayo masyadong mapaghusga dyan sa mga pulis. Kawawa din ng mga yan. Hindi lahat yan masasama. May mga salbahe dyan, promise. Pero a lot of them are good.
At saka, Mikel, you have to consider also, when you're speaking to a police, respect is very important. You know why? Because these policemen, kahit papaano, dapat isipin mo rin may PTSD rin ng ibang mga police dyan. You
Hindi,
don't know what they go through every day. I mean, the danger. I mean, how many times siguro may mga police rin dyan na maraming enkwentro or na destino sa Mindanao, have had their fair share of firefights. May mga times na muntik na silang mamatay. Ang problema kasi sa Pilipino, Eric, we don't go to a psychologist or psychiatrist kung may problema tayo sa meron na pala tayong problema. Meron na pala tayong post-traumatic
Hindi,
diba?
nagdadasal lang tayo kay San Miguel. Usually,
Kaya,
ginagawa natin pag may problema.
Pag may na-encounter kayong pulis na masungit, paminsan, be the better person or take the high horse na, pasensya na po kung medyo na kayo na, di ba? Medyo magpakumbaba rin tayo.
No,
Kasi,
basically, ang akin lang kasi, when it comes to police, authority sila eh. Di ba? And you have to respect that. And they earned that. Di ba? Hindi madali maging police. I mean, the process of becoming a policeman, hindi din siya madali. Or part of the military. Kung ano-ano yung may tinatawag sila mga hell week yan, mga ganun. Hindi basta-basta yan. And they've been through a lot and they're just trying to do their jobs. Okay, ang utos nila is manghuli ng mga walang conduction sticker o mga coding or whatever, mga violations yan.
Baka tigilan nyo yung kakapalusot. Kung may mali kayo, patikit na lang kayo. Or di ba?
Oo.
Tapos yung
Huwag yung gayahin si Ron.
Huwag yung pasaway kagaya ko. Yung parang yung kawawa yung, di ba? I remember this video I shared before months ago. I remember when we had checkpoints and there was this video, a CCTV in a barangay. Tapos they stopped a riding in tandem. Pucha, may baril pala yung isang guy.
Yeah.
Diba? Tapos tumatakbo yung guy, binaril niya yung humahabol sa kanyang pulis, patay. Buti na lang yung isang sumunod na pulis, medyo sharpshooter. Tinamaan niya yung pero alam mo yun, these are the dangers that the cops face every day.
And I mean, and ito yung the police are out there to protect the public. Period. Okay? May mga gagong police, meron talaga. Pero I bet you may bottom dollar, 99% of the police force dyan, malilinis yan. They're just trying to get by. They want to just finish their day, go home to their families, no? And provide for their families. Yun lang naman eh.
Have you seen the comment section of that video, Mikael, Eric, of that incident in Cavite? The indignation.
I never read the comment sections na kasi nakakabaliw. Unless minsan sobrang nakakatawa. But it's right. They should be mad because, like I said, that whatever happened there was really bad. And this shows that we do have some policemen who are real heroes and they should be treated that way. Kawawa din yung family. He had 5 children from what I understand. And, that's kawawa talaga the policemen. And I hope that this is at least some sort of enlightenment. Kasi ngayon na-associate palagi yung police with tokhang, extrajudicial killing, ganyan. So yung CHR palagi nakakampi doon sa, we need people like the human rights. We need that for sure. There needs to be checks and balance. Pero at the same time, we also have to not protect the criminals. Okay?
Yeah, yun din eh. Kasi yun ang nangyayari ngayon eh. Parang okay, so yung police na baril, namatay. Tapos ito ngayon, itong criminal na to, sila pa yung poprotektahin ng
okay.
So parang,
guys, kasi I lived in London for so long and I worked in a train station and we had to deal. The police there very different. The police there walang baril, may baton lang, tapos maliliit lang sila. When I was first working their night shift, may nag-aaway sa station, nawawala na doon. So, dating ako doon, naawat ko sila, di ba? Gulo-gulo, sabi ko, shit. Galing akong Pilipinas, sanay na ako dyan. Di ba? Tapos nakikita ko pababa yung mga police. Yung police doon may malaking black na hat. Sabi ko doon sa mga yari kayo, dyan na yung police. Biglang pagdating doon, yung police yung kinugulpi. Kinuha yung hat ng police. Ako pa yung tumulong doon sa police. Sabi ko, oh my God. So I was like, so shocked. Like, culture is like, oh my God, iba pala dito. Kasi they didn't have guns. Parang there's less respect. So, sabi ko, kinikwento ko sa mga tao doon sa station, sabi ko, alam mo sa Pilipinas, kahit gaano ka kalasing, kahit gaano ka kasabog, pag may lumapit sa'yo na police, stand in attention ka, yes sir, sorry, kasi ayaw mo mabaril, di ba? Or, you have to, but there's one time also we're in the station, there's somebody pulled a knife, na threaten with a knife. So yung security namin at saka ako, we put the person on the ground. Restrain namin. Sa public area yun.
Wow.
May mga dumadaan na mga tao sabi, kawawa naman, that's against his human rights, ganyan. So sabi ng security, bitawan ko na lang, papalayain ko, sasaksakin ka nito. Some guy was just going crazy with a knife, diba? So sabi, gusto po, bitawan namin, kayong bahala, your choice. Sabi, no, keep him there. Yun naman pala, putya, human rights niya. Putya, nakakabaliw So I don't want that to happen here in the Philippines na maging too extreme naman. But syempre, ayoko naman na yung mga police talagang namamaril na lang ng tao na nanakot. There has to be respect.
But there has to be like
ayoko lang pumunta dun sa human rights extremes kasi nadanasan ko na yun sa ibang bansa. Tapos hassle.
Yeah, well, hindi nagre-resonate yung human rights issue sa karamihan ng mga Pilipino kasi alam nila yung yung resulta ng campaign against drugs, yung how the police now are doing their jobs, and na-lessen talaga yung corruption sa police ranks. Maraming na mga natanggal na police na corrupt at mga maraming ginawang kalokohan. Nielsen Obligar says, sobrang bastos kasi mga Pinoy kapag sinita na sila or pull over for questioning. Samantala din sa North America, sa Canada daw, may makakita ka lang ng police while you're driving, mag-check ka agad ng speedometer mo kung tama ba yung speed mo.
And that's true kasi rin, kunwari sa US, medyo wild din kasi yung police doon kasi di ba, they chase you, tapos talagang kahit
may lives matter.
Hahabulin ka talaga ng mga yun. Diba?
They follow on the news yung mga chase, diba? Tapos there's a show called Cops even. That was a pretty intense show, diba?
Pero Mikel, Erica, one concerning, disturbing thing I saw in one of the documentaries I've been watching, the KKK or the white supremacists, one of their, I think this is based on one of the books that was written by a white supremacist leader in the 70s. Part of their modus is to infiltrate law enforcement. So meron talagang mga sa law enforcement na mga white supremacists.
But Ron, also, you have to remember with police are humans also. May mga biases din yan, may mga sariling thoughts din yan. So, but kahit na wala pa yung KKK dyan, may mga resist talaga din.
Yeah. Anyway.
Kahit anong mangyari, ganyan talaga mga police.
Okay, guys.
Good vibes naman.
Good vibes na. Huge fan of John Hughes.
Wait, guys. May konting good news pala, hindi natin na-discuss. Di ba, konti lang. Yung sinabi nga ng Pfizer came out and the stock markets are shooting up today because they said that their vaccine is 90% efficient. Di ko alam kung ano mangyari doon sa 10%. Baka tinubuan nga ng tenga dito sa
after the third,
Yes. So everybody knows I'm a huge fan of Doc Edsel Salvana. So he posted something lang on his Facebook now. If you get a chance, mga viewers natin, talks about that, the good news associated with that and also tempering expectations na wag tayo maging masyadong excited or to also still be very, very careful. Kasi medyo malayo-layo pa rin yan before makakuha lahat ng tao ng vaccine. No? So we still have to be extra careful. But it's some good news at least.
Alam mo, Mikel, Eric, buti nga na-mention mo yung vaccine. Yes, that is good news. Kasi, if you hear it coming from somebody who is a COVID-19 survivor, matatauhan ka talaga eh. Kasi for us right now, for people like us, na no one close to us has experienced it before, na wala pa tayong binibisita sa hospital na naka-experience ng COVID-19, hindi talaga natin
pwede bumisita.
Hindi pwede bumisita.
I've had friends, Ron, I have a friend my age, my classmate from Southern. She was in the ICU last week. It was very bad. Almost na siya intubate. This week lang siya nakalabas. And talagang, isipin mo kasi dati, di ba, parang conspiracy lang yan. It can't be that bad. It's just like the flu. And then you talk to people who had it or there's people in your circle, may mga namatay na. We have friends na who passed away or, it's really out there. And you just can't take that chance.
It's scary.
Dad ng batchmate ko, sobrang bilis daw. They were exposed Okay, hindi ko na sabihin yung circumstances, na-expose silang lahat. Okay? Tapos the dad, after dinner, konti lang daw kinain, papahinga daw. Tapos nung pumunta sa room, parang hindi na daw lumabas. Nung tiningnan, ano na, medyo mahina na, mainit na at lahat. So, diretso sa hospital, sa ambulance. Para sa ambulance, sinabayan ng batchmate ko. Ganun. Nakita daw niya yung mata ng dad niya nag-dilate na. Alam mo yun?
Mm.
Yung ganun. Tapos biglang na-revive. Na-revive, parang, nasaan ako, ganun. Mabot sa hospital, pero pagdating sa hospital, nag-expire na.
Mm. Oh, itong ano kasi,
COVID positive yun. Ganun,
itong
merong din mga mabibilis pala na cases.
Itong kilala ko, Rick, kababata ko, nag-post kasi siya sa Facebook, tapos binasa ko yung kwento niya. So yung talagang nirecount niya yung mga nangyari sa kanya. They had a small gathering with a few friends, and it's a regular thing that they've been doing every weekend. So nag-suspend time sila, nag-hangout sila. And this last time that they were together for 5 hours with this group of people. And then day later, he felt the symptoms. Calls his sister, who's a doctor, and told him to have himself checked. True enough, pagpa-check niya, COVID positive siya. But the whole time he was isolated, kasi ganun mangyayari yan eh. If you get a test and you find out after 48 hours that you're positive, the next course of action there is the government or the health officials will isolate you. And the thing about getting you isolated is you will be left in a room by yourself. And most of the time, the room that you'll be isolated in is very small.
It's not great.
And there are
It's
no
not
windows.
the Shangri-La or anything.
And all you hear is the sound of agony from the next room. And most of the time, the people in the next room are having a hard time breathing. Hard time breathing, or they're going through so many talagang difficult time. Because either they have pneumonia or talagang worse yung effects nila ng COVID. Pero grabe daw, talagang nakakatakot talaga. You have this feeling when you're isolated that this could be the end for you without even seeing your family. Kasi for days on end, for a week or so, you won't be with anybody but the doctors or nurses who come into your room. And most of the time, you're alone. And even our friend Jojo experiences, di ba? Na mag-isa lang talaga siya. Nakakasaya ng ulo, nakakabago kasi hindi mo alam anong mangyayari sa'yo eh. Because COVID can affect you in so many different ways. And it doesn't matter what age you are. Di ba? Paminsan baka hindi mo alam, compromised ka.
Yeah, madami ako. May mga kilala kami na they either died or what, even sobrang bata pa na walang underlying. So there's really something genetically that could affect you na it will cause. So that's why ang suggestion ko and advice to everybody is just don't take the risk, 'di ba? Kasi hindi mo alam whether you pass it to somebody that it will make it worse for them, kamag-anak mo or somebody in your house na pag nagkasakit sila hindi nila kakayanin, 'di ba? And kakayanin mo ba yung guilt na ikaw yung nagbigay nun sa kanila? Mahirap din 'yon, 'di ba? So nakakatakot lang din, Ron and Eric, kasi I'm an advocate now of people, sabi ko open na economy but we have to go out and we have to be safe. But more recently sa timeline ko, ang dami ko nakita mga kaibigan ko na having get-togethers, madami-dami na sila, may mga maliliit pa na party. Tapos walang nakamask. Parang doon ako natatakot kasi yung mga ganyan, feeling ko, those kinds of things, we can wait na wag muna. Kumbaga, I have a business, syempre, I want people to go out and support us and buy stuff. But kasi sa mall, mas kampante ako. Kasi the other day, I went to the mall the weekend for the first time in a long time. Kasi alam mo naman, sobrang takot ako, di ba? But I was more relaxed because everybody had to scan yung Stay Safe app for the contact tracing, strict yung guard, but everybody was wearing a face shield and a face mask. And there was distancing, the restaurants weren't I actually felt a bit more relaxed, lalo na dun sa town center kasi open air naman yung ibang mga diba?
Right.
So sabi ko sa wife ko pa at the time, sabi ko, like this, I think we can thrive. Yung economy can open up as long as we stay in this kind and we still follow the protocol.
Yes.
Doon ako nahihirapan sa kabilang side is I keep seeing people having small family gatherings or mga party na talaga na parang, yung mga yan, medyo delix pa yan kasi hindi mo alam where everybody's been.
Yep. Exactly. So before we actually get, that's going to be our final word, no? our reminders for our viewers. But let's start with you, Eric. What's your big takeaway with the conversation we had? Medyo napasarap yung usapan natin.
Oo
Lumabot
nga
tayo
eh.
sa limit.
Well, first of all, again, thank you very much to the viewers, no. Maraming salamat and another engaging day with you guys. Ang dami natin natutunan, lalo na yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, ano yung dialectic materialism. Oh, di ba?
Yun, naalala pa ni Eric. Wow,
Hindi ko
Wow.
hayop!
makakalimutan yan, Vic.
Hinahanap ko lang kung sino si Chad. Si Chad yung nag-comment nun. Thank you very much.
Actually, there are
Kasi-
two things talaga na hindi ko makakalimutan sa Polsai. Yung dialectical materialism, and another one is cognitive dissonance.
Nooks.
You guys are
Oh.
familiar with cognitive dissonance, no? Yung
Maybe.
anyway, that's what's happening between the Dilawan and the DDS right now. Cognitive dissonance.
Okay.
Malalim to si Ron.
Anyway, so go ahead, Rick. Tapos,
So yun, so basically, I guess our main topic really was about Biden winning and kung ano ba itong magiging effect talaga niya sa Philippines. Well, I think it remains to be seen. And hopefully nga, I hope that Biden will make the right decisions. At sana naman wag na sila masyadong makialam dito sa Pilipinas. No? I hope also that he can also help with the relations with China. Kasi I know that under the Trump administration, they have trade wars, right? So hopefully that could stop because it's also affecting a lot of things, especially the markets. So I'm hoping that things go back a little bit to the normal side, especially now that we're in November. Ilang araw na lang, Pasko na. Yan, ilang araw na lang, 2021 na. Grabe no, parang bilis ng 2020, parang oh my God, November na. My God. But in any case, guys, yun lang naman about sa ating PNP chief, yung bagong PNP chief natin. Well, I guess the president really
parang ano lang yun, Biden lang yan. Let's wait and see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, oh. And I'm pretty sure, sabi nga ni Mikel, the policies won't change, ganun pa rin magtrabaho ang pulis, no? So hopefully patuloy ang good work ng pulis. My thoughts and prayers to the HPG guy who and his family.
PG officer.
Officer. So hopefully incidents like this sana talaga mamatigil na kasi kawawa rin yung ating mga public servants. So, yun lang naman. Again, thank you very much, guys, for a wonderful evening.
Aba. All right, Mikel.
Parang ganda ng
Tottenham eh.
yung saya ni Eric Parang okay Thank you again to everybody who watches from all over the world. Sobrang nakakakilig, nakakataba ng puso na you're willing to listen to these three stooges talk about their own personal opinions on matters. We really appreciate it. And also, when you educate us during the show, sobrang nakakaaliw. Temo, naalala pa ni Eric, ang galing. Yung going to the topic, yung dun sa US, again, sa US yan, guys. It's different. Although what happens in the States affects the world, it's really, we have to focus on our own problems here in our country, the challenges we face. It's a different kettle of fish. Sa akin, ang pinaka-issue pa rin dito is madaming mahirap. We need to help them. We need to give better opportunities. We need to beat COVID. Let's not fight with our people who have different political views than us. Nag-post ako nito sa Facebook noong isang araw. Sabi ko, huwag na kayo makapag-away sa friends nyo or sa relatives nyo kung magkaiba yung beliefs nyo. Kasi pinag-awayan yung politiko, wala namang paki sa inyo yan. At the end of the day, pag may kailangan kayo, pag you're in a moment of need, sino man tatawagan nyo? Kaibigan nyo, pamilya nyo. Hindi naman yung politiko, di ba? So let's not alienate our friends and family kasi those are the people who we've grown up with, who we've learned to love, and who will really be there for you when you need them. So I know some of my best friends have absolutely, completely different views from me, as in violently different views from me. But I try to look past it because, at the end of the day, my conscience is clear. I just want what's best for the Filipino. I'm not associated with anybody. So sana ganun lang din tayo. And to my friends in the opposition, yes, encourage people to vote. That's very good. Hindi, encourage yan. Tama yan. Mag-encourage kayo. But, just, use facts. Educate yourselves and also try to put yourself in the shoes of why 16 million people voted for this guy and understand it, as opposed to just saying they're stupid, they're not educated, di nila alam kung sino binoto nila. That's disrespectful to the common Filipino and most Filipinos. So yun lang, educate yourselves and be smart about it, and let's learn to love each other, guys. Peace, love, and togetherness, palagi kong sinasabi. Tapos shameless plug lang pala. Bukas, Tuesday to Thursday sa Auntie Anne's nationwide. From Luzon to Mindanao, between 2 to 5 p.m. It's pretzel happy hour. Any pretzel, buy one, get one free. So
No
please,
way.
kung may chance kayo, happy hour yan. That's part of our 25th year celebration. So sana you can participate, go to the mall safely, observe social distancing, and help spread the word kasi kailangan din ng tulong. And also, support all the local businesses. Wala kaming competition. We're all in this together. We welcome all the businesses. We want everybody to do well kasi trabaho din yan for most Filipinos, and ayaw namin may mga wawalan ng trabaho. So, kahit nakita ko may ad sa UK ngayon kasi may lockdown, si Burger King sabi niya, order McDonald's. Okay lang sa kanila yon. So, ganyan dapat tayo mag-isip ngayon. Yun lang. So, thanks guys. Thanks to everybody.
All right, sounds good, Mikael. Thank you so much, Eric. To everyone who watched Istoryang Futbolero tonight, we really appreciate all your inputs and the time that you've spent with us. Siyempre, alam mo, life is too short. Kaya when people share their time and effort, you should appreciate it as much as you can. Diba? So,
Super.
Dominic, Rainiel, Nielsen, Michael, salamat sa inyo sa pagkinig. Sab, huwag mo masyadong pagalitan si Mikel. Mamaya, tapos si Gerard. Thank you for watching. Chad, also to Julio, to Ruby. We have Vina watching all the way from Rome, Italy. Awesome. Tapos si Bing Recto from Bahrain is also watching. Si Rosea, salamat sa pagkinig. At si Napoleon, maraming salamat, Jason. Also to Roy and Mike, Edwin, Tanaka, Edna, Joni. Dami nating viewers ngayong gabi. Si Brenda, watching from Singapore, and Miriam and Tessie.
International. Thank you so much.
And also si Romeo, Nonoy, Merly, Arcadia, Ruby, Darlene, Trixia, Eduardo, si Naning, and Jovel and Rick watching from Japan. Galing ha? Sarap niyong kausap sa Istoryang Futbolero. We'll catch you again same time next Wednesday with the ladies. I don't know if alam mo si Eric, paminsan hindi ko alam kung sinasadya niya na hindi matend ng Wednesday na programa eh. Pero andito baka malakas at saka si Sarah sa Wednesday para magkaroon tayo ng female perspective sa Istoryang Futbolero. Bakit po namin iniimbita si Sarah at saka si Celine, apart from them being eye candy para sa programa, ay sila po ay futbolero rin. Naglalaro po sila ng football rin. Kaya itong mga tao na sumasali sa Istoryang Futbolero at one point ay connected to the game of football. Huwag niyong kalimutan po, ay try rin po ninyo panoorin ang Philippine Football League. May
Katapos lang.
Katapos lang, no?
Yeah.
Napakapas po ng United ito yung team ni
Shrock. United City.
Oh, United City. Pinambakan nila yung isang team ng 10-0 the other night.
Team ng kaibigan ko yan. So, yeah. But it's okay. Learning experience yan. For
guys, please.
Alam mo, ang pinakamalakas na team natin dito sa Pilipinas, sila rin ang pinakapangit na pangalan ng team.
Okay.
Sorry
Ganun. Pero, si Rail Park rin was watching from Winnipeg, Canada.
Wow. Grabe.
And
Pati Dubai,
happy hour daw. Cool, man. So thank you guys for watching, and make sure, don't forget the basic guidelines, health guidelines set by the DOH and the DILG called Bidang May Disiplina. before I talk about bida, let me just say na ang Tottenham po ay number 1. Temporary lang naman yan, pero sige na lang.
Yeah. Again, number 2 na kami ngayon kasi
Number 2 na
Leicester.
lang
nanalo
pala.
ang Leicester eh.
Leicester ang number 1 sa Premier League. Yung mga nanonood ng English League ngayon, yun po ang ngayon ang standing. Wala po tayong games this weekend. May 2-week international break ang football sa England. At sila will be playing for their respective national teams. And they'll be back on the 3rd week of November or maybe earlier. So, we can't wait for that to come back. Kasi alam mo naman ng Liverpool, it's my favorite team. And so far, so good. They're right there. So,
number 4, top 4 ata kayo ngayon eh.
Ganun ba? Anyway,
I think so, I'm not sure.
sus. Anyway,
moving on.
Nasabi lang natin na hindi pa tapos yung pandemya, although may good news tayo about the vaccine. But until then, I still remember the bida ang may disiplina, bawal ang walang mask, i-sanitize ang mga kamay, iwasan lumawak ng kung anong mga bagay, distansya ng 1 metro, at alamin ang totoong impormasyon, bawal ang fake news. Okay? Before you share, you have to care. Okay?
Bago yun
Bago yun.
Bago yun ipa-trademark mo yan, bro.
Trademark. All right, guys. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Night, guys.
And make sure to be productive this week. Bye. See ya.
Bye-bye.